Boy, it's hot in here. It's so hot in here. Why is it so hot in here?
A little warm.
It's so hot people can't talk. Well, it's because what? Because the Mets won.
Ah.
So this building is on the same circuit as Shea Stadium, is it?
Bottom of the 12th inning. 1 out. 1-1 tie. Charlie Kerfeld and Gary Carter dueling here. Up the middle, base hit. Backman turns third. Hatcher's throw, no play. Easy for Backman. Carter wins it with his second hit of the series, and the Mets win the ball game in 12, 2-1.
National League Championship Series.
You know, you do know if you go to the playoffs that it really, whoever's hot wins. You know, you run into some good pitching or hot hitting and anything can happen.
And in Game 1, the Astros had the hottest pitcher in baseball on the mound.
Mike Scott was that dominant, and he was in the Mets' heads. The Mets were all convinced that he was scuffing the baseball.
Gary Carter has been making most of the noise about Mike Scott scuffing the ball. Gary Carter wants him to look at the ball, and the controversy has already started.
It didn't bother me. I'd heard it earlier in the year. I heard it then. I don't think it hurt me. It probably helped.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. So Mike Scott strikes out 2 of the 4 Mets he faces.
Regardless of what everybody was saying, you know, he was cutting the ball, he was doing this.
Struck him out.
Whatever it was, he was beating us. And that's the bottom line, and you have to accept that.
He threw this nasty, nasty splitter. You know, boom, gone.
The split finger fastball. Now watch it drop. Well, this pitch is just unhittable.
Unhittable and untouchable. And the mighty Mets were doomed in Game 1.
Struck him out. That's strikeout 14. It ties the National League Championship Series record. The Houston Astros have defeated the New York Mets by a score of 1-0.
After the Mets evened the series in Game 2, play shifted to New York. Though in Game 3 at Shea Stadium, the Mets found themselves trailing again in the 6th.
I remember we were down 4-1. I hit a 3-run homer to tie the game off of Bob Knepper.
It's deep to right field, way back, going, gone, home run!
The score is tied.
But Houston would pull ahead again. In the 9th, down 1, the Mets got the tying run on with an unlikely source of power at the plate.
Lenny Dykstra gets up there, and he's completely unintimidated. He was never afraid of a big moment.
It is fairly deep. It's way back by the wall. He did it! It's a home run! A home run! The Mets win the ball game. Len Dykstra hit a home run. This ball game is over.
In Game 4, though, Mike Scott returned to the mound and silenced the Mets' bats once more, tossing another complete game to even the series again.
Right now, Scott pretty much has things his way as he strikes out Darryl Strawberry.
He was like really sticking it up our butt. And we didn't like that because we were arrogant, we were cocky, and nobody's supposed to do this to us. But actually, Mike Scott was doing it to us.
Game is over. Mike Scott has beaten the New York Mets for the second time. A 3-hitter tonight. The series is now even at 2 games apiece.
Game 5 was a pitching duel between old and young. The ageless Nolan Ryan against 21-year-old Dwight Gooden.
Strikes him out. Big curveball.
The Ryan Express continues to blow people away.
Ryan was brilliant for 9 innings, while Gooden countered with 10 strong frames of his own.
Ball strike 3.
And it was a 1-1 ball game when Gary Carter came to the plate in the 12th.
Up the middle, base hit. Backman turns third. Hatcher's throw, no play. And the Mets win the ball game in 12, 2-1. Mookie Wilson leads off for the New York Mets as we very quickly go to the ball game against left-hander Bob Knepper, who had a no decision in game number 3, pitched 7 innings, was tagged for 4 runs, The big hit in that group from Darryl Strawberry, it was a 3-run homer. Kevin Mitchell will follow Wilson and then Keith Hernandez. And the crowd reacting on every pitch in this ball game insofar as the Astros are concerned. Knepper on his career against New York, 11-11. Foul back. The opera buff seemed quiet, seemed calm, but so determined as he sat today in the clubhouse. There's the New York lineup, and it's pretty much the same lineup that those who follow the New York Mets would know when a left-handed pitcher is on the mound. Knepper strikes out Mookie Wilson. He is jacked up. I don't know if I've ever seen Bob Knepper quite as reactive off the first out. The defense, Cruz, Hatcher, Bass outside. Inside Davis, Doran, Thon, and Garner. That's the change on the left side because Ojeda, the left-hander, is pitching for New York, and Ashby remains back of the plate. Kevin Mitchell 2 for 4 in the series, and the only game in which he has been at bat was in the game 3 when Knepper was the pitcher. 1 down for New York, and foul straight back. Knepper, good night's rest, he said, came on the early flight home while Bob Ojeda traveled on the New York Mets charter. So Ojeda got to bed a little later than did Knepper.
And Bob Knepper working on 3 days rest. He is 14-5 with an excellent 2.17 ERA over the last 3 years and 32 starts with 3 days rest.
Strike 2 on Mitchell.
So it would help a guy like Bob Knepper, who is not a hard thrower, more than it would help a hard thrower and a power pitcher like Mike Scott. A lot of times a spot pitcher or a guy who works to the spots, works hitters inside and out, is much better with 3 days rest than a power pitcher.
The 2-strike pitch to Mitchell. 1-2. Umpires, as we said, Fred Brocklander is behind the plate, and he's the man who made the call that upset the whole of the Houston area yesterday in New York. Doug Harvey at first, Lee Wire second, Frank Pulley third, left field line Dutch Rennett, right field line Joe West. High chopper, Phil Garner, third baseman, 2 down. Now it is Keith Hernandez for the Mets with 2 out. Listening to the Houston radio around town this morning, some of it was just hilarious. They've already got a song written about Brocklander.
Quick sketch, huh?
Oh, I mean. But I also get the feeling that the city and the people who have the valuable tickets to the ball game today are determined to prove to the New York faithful they too can be loud and supportive. To Hernandez, high, ball 1.
The Houston fans down here in Houston defying the local economy and buying tickets like oil were $40 a barrel.
Keith in the series, 6 hits and 19 trips to the plate, 2 runs batted in. He was 2 for 4 against Knepper in game 3. That's a bouncing ball that is foul at first base. Gary Carter, the man who won the ball game yesterday for New York with that single up the middle in the bottom of the 12th inning, is on deck.
The one thing a left-handed hitter tries to do against a left-handed pitcher is keep his front shoulder in there. You thereby become more vulnerable to the ball inside. That's why Knepper tries to work Hernandez inside.
Struck him out looking. So Bob Knepper strikes out 2 of the first 3 Mets he faces. No score, top of the first. The Astros coming up.
Mookie only 2 for 19 in the LCS. 0 for 4 and fanned 3 times in the grueling ball game yesterday. Now the pitch on the way, struck him out swinging. He got Mookie the strikeout on a breaking ball down around his feet. Now here's the windup by Knepper, the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. Beautiful pitch on the inside corner, and Hernandez to it.
The batting order for the Houston Astros today, we'll have Bill Doran leading off, playing second base. Billy Hatcher center field, batting second. There's the lineup. Followed by Phil Garner, who is the insert in the right-handed lineup, playing third base, hitting third. Then Glenn Davis, Kevin Bass, Jose Cruz, Alan Ashby. Dickie Thon, the shortstop today, will hit number 8. And he's in there because of this man on the mound, Bob Ojeda. Bob Ojeda went the distance in game 2, won it 5-1. He scattered 10 hits. He struck out 4, walked 2. He had 2 double plays behind him. And the double plays, very important for a man who pitches like Bob Ojeda. Couple is a change at second base today for New York. Mitchell in left field a change, and Wilson moves over to center field. But I think if you see the Mets get to a lead, you'll see Dykstra in center field rather quickly, with Wilson going back over to left field, and Backman probably being inserted at second base.
Especially the later innings.
Bill Doran 4 for 20 with a home run. And hits it sharply underneath the glove of Rafael Santana. Base hit Doran. Doran hitting right-handed, only 1 for 8, but now he's 2 for 9, and the leadoff man is on with Billy Hatcher coming to the plate.
We mentioned the problems in seeing the ball in this ballpark, and that does not only apply to fly balls. The ball goes under the glove of Santana. He missed that ball. He never picked that ball up.
Ojeda's first pitch to Doran was right up letter high, too, and he jumped it. Doran, one of the quicker of the Astros, on the bases. Hatcher 4 for 18. Slides up, lays it down, and it's fouled away. It's obvious now that Hal Lanier would like to have the early run.
And with as fewer runs that have been scored in this series, I think both teams more apt to go for an early run. You wouldn't do that normally in the season.
Ball hit to the right side. Great play. Hernandez throws to second, 1, no play at first. What a fine play by Keith Hernandez, and Doran hit the bag very, very hard at second base, but he's all right.
Hernandez makes these plays because he cheats at first base. He doesn't hold the runner on totally. See how he cheats like that? That little extra 2 steps makes it possible for him to make this play, and he makes the throw from his knees. One of the unheralded things about Hernandez, he has as good a throwing arm for a first baseman as I've seen.
Now it's Phil Garner. Garner 1 for 6 in the series. Hatcher at first base has 3 stolen bases in the series. Fastball from Bob Ojeda on the outside corner. These 2 left-handers are remarkably alike in their demeanor. Both calm, quiet men, and both craftsmen at their trade.
I think you picked up on it early. I've never seen the reaction of Bob Knepper. He seems to be much more animated today.
And Ojeda throwing 2 fastballs in a row to Phil Garner comes high with that one to make your count a 1-1. With 1 out and Hatcher at first base. 18-5 on this season. Came over to the Mets in the trade with the Boston Red Sox that saw a principal figure in that championship series, Calvin Geraldo. Going to Boston. Hatcher goes. Garner swings in the gap. Going through. Going to the wall. Garner turning at third. Coming home. And it's a stand-up double for Phil Garner, and the Astros lead 1-0.
Pitching and hitting is a real guessing game. 4 straight fastballs from Ojeda. Phil Garner has hurt Ojeda. He hurt him once in the season with a home run, and he drove in the only run of the game. Both pitches on changeups. Ojeda tries to come inside, and Garner was ready and rifles one to the gap in left center.
And the foot speed of Hatcher, since he was already running, was no reason for even think about coming to the plate because he was easy home. This is Glenn Davis, and he swings on the first pitch and fouls it away. Glenn Davis, in the opinion of some of you, watch Hatcher here as he turns. Carrying the gloves in the right hand to protect the fingers, and he is really balling it, isn't he?
Carrying the gloves and the bacon.
But Davis, in the opinion of some of the coaches and his manager, had been taking too many pitches. And he has come to the plate in this first inning with the idea that if it's in the zone, and particularly if it's a fastball, jump it. Don't take any fastballs.
And watch Phil Garner at second base. He's an excellent base runner. And it looks like the Astros have come out very aggressively. A good time to steal right now.
That ball that has that little screwball action to it, sailing away from the right-handed hitter, and Davis just nipped it. David Johnson maybe a little farther forward in the dugout today than would be the norm early on in the ball game. A win for the Mets, and it's over. A win for Houston, and we play tomorrow night in Game 7. Santana can't get it. Garner turns third. He's coming home. 2-0 Houston. Glenn Davis picks up his second RBI.
Well, Rafael Santana, as you see, his changeup grounded almost into the position, and Santana playing Davis way in the hole. That ball almost a routine positioned ground ball.
Go back to the point. In a game like this, positioned by the player, a half a step here, a half a step there, means so much.
Especially on the rug, because you can't react as quickly.
Kevin Bass, the hitter. Bass 2 for 7 right-handed, 4 for 11 left-handed, which means he's 6 of 18 in the series. And it's 2 balls and no strikes, as Houston has jumped on Bob Ojeda for 2 runs here in the bottom of the first inning. Three balls and no strikes. Reflecting back too on the fact that Doran led off with a single. The play by Hernandez at first base has saved a run. Bass walks. Davis to second. The New York Mets bullpen now will get busy with Ojeda having trouble here in the bottom of the first inning. The Astros have 3 hits, 2 runs. He's now walked a man, and Rick Aguilera gets up in a hurry. Mel Stottlemyre to the mound. Keith Hernandez had come in first off to talk. And then the gate opened, and out went Aguilera to the pitching rubber in the bullpen. And we have a conference on the mound as Stottlemyre comes out, 1 to talk to his pitcher and 2 by time.
And it's the first time to give you an idea of how good the pitching has been for both sides. Les Moss has talked to the Houston pitchers 3 times, and the first trip for Mel Stottlemyre.
So Aguilera hurrying along here, shaking the shoulder loose. And Ojeda will face Jose Cruz, who is 4 for 20 in the championship series. Glenn Davis at second base. Kevin Bass at first base. Base hit down the right side, down the line. Here comes Davis turning third. He's coming to the plate. Bass goes over to third. Cruz delivers another run. It is 3-0 Houston. I'll
tell you, the attitude of this Houston ball club has been come out on a torrid pace, or had the team come out on a torrid pace, and everything is going their way. Home sweet home.
With one out, 3 runs across, runners on the corner, Bass at third, Cruz at first, Alan Ashby hitting right-handed. As a right-hander, he's 1 for 8, but that one was a home run in New York. Fouled at the plate. Low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'll tell you what makes this inning so interesting. Both teams have been shadow boxing in the early innings, but not today.
Bob Knepper, the Houston pitcher.
This is like a Mike Tyson first round.
Cruz at first, not particularly swift. Ashby, the catcher, at the plate, squeezes on, and Bass is hung up. They go for the suicide, and Ashby can't get the ball down, and they hang up Bass and tag him out.
And Alan Ashby had a marvelous pitch to bunt. Remember, it's not imperative that the runner at third base break too soon, and Ashby simply bunts through the ball. All you have to do is get it down anywhere on the ground, regardless of how hard it's bunted, and Bass scores. But Ashby bunted through the ball.
In the meantime, Cruz moved over to second base. 2 out now. Hit to left. Flagged down by Santana. And the inning is over. But the Houston Astros break big in the bottom of the first inning, and after 1, lead the Mets 3-0.
Bill Garner batting third of the order. The 1-2 delivery. The runner goes. Line drive hit hard to left center field. Base hit going all the way back to the wall. Hatcher around third. He will score. Garner around second, stopping there. Glenn Davis, the cleanup batter, is up. Now waiting on a 2-2 delivery. Ground ball hit the shortstop. Base hit goes into center field. Garner around third. He will score. 2-0 Houston. Now the veteran Jose Cruz, good hitter. Now Ojeda checks the runners. And a line drive into short right field, base hit. Going down the right field line. Davis around third is scoring. Strawberry is throwing to third, not in time. Soft line drive, base hit. Looped over the head of Keith Hernandez. Just fair. 3-0 in favor of the Astros.
From day 1, when this building was opened, that roof has been an object of conversation and sometimes an object of pain.
I'll tell you, in day games here, it's white shirts and light sheets. Those are acrylic sheet skylights up there. They're 7 by 2 by 3 by 4. They're 7 feet long to me. And there are 4,596 of them. And sometimes on fly balls, it looks like 4,500 baseballs are coming at the outfielder.
Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, and Ray Knight coming to the plate now for the New York Mets in the top of the second inning, with the Astros jumping out to a 3-0 lead. And Bob Knepper delivers to Carter, high, ball 1. 2 for 22. And he sure made the one yesterday count. High to the right side. Bass going back. Makes the catch. One down for Darryl Strawberry, who has struck out 10 times in the series, but against Knepper hit a 3-run home run in the 6th inning in New York in Game 3 to tie the ball game at 4-4. And he hit it 3-2, if I remember. Back on.
You mentioned Gary Carter's 2 hits. Both of his hits have been game winners. One yesterday, and the first one, the double against Nolan Ryan, to drive in the first run of the game in Game 2.
1-1 to Strawberry. 2-1.
Bob Knepper asking Fred Brocklander if the ball was high. Was it up?
Bill Doran at second base. Throws him out. Now it'll be Ray Knight with 2 down. Knepper's retired 5 in a row. And as duly noted, the Mets have been quiet in the entire series through the first 3 innings.
2 base runners, as a matter of fact, 1 hit in the first 3 innings of every game. Not only no runs, but very, very few base runners.
Against Knepper in game 3, Knight had 1 hit and 3 trips on the series. Ray 3 for 18. Garner flags it down. Gets it. They're going all out after 1.5. 3-0 Houston. Phil Garner, the Tennessee Volunteer, who made the play to end the last inning. A good one at third base as he extended his body and then threw out Ray Knight.
Baseball's such a beautiful game. Think of what Garner has done already. He's driven in a run with power, adeptness, balance, strong arm.
And Dickie Thon stands at the plate playing shortstop today. 7 Astros came to the plate against Ojeda in the bottom of the first inning to score the 3 runs. Thon up for the first time, then the pitcher spot Knepper, and the top of the order Doran. Houston batting in the bottom of the second. Ojeda goes 1-1 now with Thon. Dickey 3 for 9 in the series, hit a home run in New York. To the right side, Fernandez rolls over with it, throws to the pitcher covering, and they get him. Another good defensive play.
Hernandez, we've said it before, a state-of-the-art first baseman, ranging to his right, playing way off the line. And you saw Garner with his balance and agility, and now you see Hernandez. These guys can play. That's why they're here, right?
The guy over there at the first corner for New York can certainly play the defense. Whoa. Now Bob Knepper. Change-up is on the corner for a strike. Astros tried the squeeze, didn't get it, cost them an out. Otherwise, they might have had more.
Well, the interesting thing about that is they were swinging very aggressively, and now manager Hal Lanier added a very conservative element. That's a squeeze bunt in the first inning. We'll see if that's going to thwart the Astros and kind of hold them at bay. Bobby Ojeda certainly hopes so.
Second strikeout in the ball game for that's first strikeout for Ojeda as he gets Knepper looking on 3 pitches, and now Doran the top of the order, and Doran singled to lead the ball game, but then was thrown out at second base on a fine play. Hernandez. Now here comes Ojeda, beginning to settle into himself a little more, beginning to find the spots, his location for his pitches, and it's a variety of pitches at a variety of speeds. Ray Knight at third, throws out Doran, and the side is retired. So in the bottom of the second inning, Houston goes quietly, and after 2, it's 3-0. The Astros lead.
Now the windup and the 1-1 delivery. Ground ball hit hard. Diving stop by Hernandez. So Ojeda out at first base. A dive to the foul line by Hernandez. He stabbed it. He rolled completely over. Got halfway to his feet and threw to Ojeda covering. Another magnificent defensive play.
To amplify just a little more on the Mets in the first 3 innings as Tim Tupple steps in, they are 1 for 53.
Wow.
In the series over the first 3 innings. Bob Knepper misses outside. Tuttle for ball 1. Shortstop Dickie Thon. Throwing out Tim Tuffle, so Tim is now 0 for 4 in the series, and this will bring up now Rafael Santana, the shortstop. Most of the folks are now in place in the Astrodome. Still a few seats showing up, but I bet you there'll be a body in them before the day's over.
Guess the eyes of Texas are upon us, huh?
Yeah, I would say so, yes. Big eyes. Breaking pitch outside corner.
It's a Lone Star state, and the Astros have had a Lone Star coming into this game today, and that Lone Star will be pitching tomorrow night if the Astros can win this ball game. That star, Mike Scott.
I heard a fellow this morning offering to give everybody some sandpaper if they wanted to bring it to the ballpark tomorrow. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Santana. Pitcher spot next. Ojeda's on deck. There's some sandpaper. A lot of folks got it today. Up the middle, base hit, Santana. Ball sharply struck by Rafael. He's hit the ball sharply, but without a whole lot of luck so far. But this one, he's strung up the middle.
His 3rd hit of the contest. That's a great segue. Sandpaper to Santana. First hit of the ball game for the Mets.
And Ojeda, the pitcher, stands in. Bunt is down. Garner has it. Gets the lead runner at second base.
As much as any other element, the bunt play on artificial surface, unless you make a perfect bunt, is almost non-existent, especially with a third baseman who is aggressive in charging like Phil Garner. No place to bunt the ball.
So Ojeda gets his jacket at first in our 72-degree temperature, and Mookie Wilson comes to the plate.
Pitchers and jackets on first base. I've never really quite understood that. 72 degrees.
Pitch is inside to Mookie for ball 1. Wouldn't you say the mentality is comparable to punters?
I had to deal with them for 21 years. You ride to the park with them, and in 80-degree weather, they want you to roll the windows up to keep the air off their arms.
That's a lonely job, though, for pitchers and punters both.
And very specialized, and that's why they're, as a group, the most important department in the game of baseball.
2 balls and no strikes to Wilson, and the crowd still hooting on every call that doesn't go their way. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes. Santana getting the first base hit of the ball game off Knepper after he had retired 7 in a row. And with 2 down, Ojeda's on first base. Wilson at 3-0. 4-0 now as Knepper is way wide of the mark on that pitch. That sends Ojeda down to second. Kevin Mitchell at the plate. Inside corner to Mitchell for a call strike. Nolan Ryan, who pitched so brilliantly yesterday, went to the hospital this morning to have a foot x-rayed. He had jammed it yesterday running the bases.
That riding inside fastball, one of 2 that Knepper throws. The other fastball, the sinker away in double play situations.
Ojeda off second. Wilson off first for New York. Houston leading 3-0 in the top of the 3rd. That's a little high to Wilson. Foul ball. He went for a high fastball and didn't get it. And the side is retired. After 2.5, 3-0 Houston. Back after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
Well, that's baseball, and it's my game. You know, you take your worries to the park and you leave them there. You yell like crazy for your guys. Good for your lungs. The hot dog of the game beats roast beef at the Ritz. See your own national game beautifully played. Let's all go out to the ball game as often as we can get away next season. For my dough, that's living.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Houston Astros now in the bottom of the third inning will send.
Leading out for Houston, the center fielder, number 28.
Billy Hatcher, Phil Garner, and Glenn Davis to the plate. And we were double checking on the and got additional information that it was the ankle portion of Ryan's leg that they were concerned about because it puffed up so much. But at the same time, we're told that they were fearful there might be a fracture of some kind within the foot area, but we don't know exactly what it is or what they have found from the x-rays. Hatcher, standing at the plate, scored the first run of the ball game, getting a ball on a fielder's choice. And Billy fouls that back to make your count 1-1. Now Ojeda came out in the second inning after being rattled around in the first and got Houston in order. Fouls it to the right side, going way back into the crowd. The peaks and valley of baseball. First inning, way up. Second inning, came right back down.
And only that very good play, as you pointed out by Keith Hernandez, prevented the Astros from having an even bigger inning in the first.
That's sharply hit. Santana, fine back-handed play, throws him out. Santana apparently having a little trouble picking up particularly one of the balls hit in his direction in the first inning, but that time had it right off the bat. Now Phil Garner. This rug not as quick though as some of the other rugs around the National League, and in particular Cincinnati and Philadelphia. But it is still an artificial surface and the ball still comes to you quicker than it will off Mother Earth. Ball one to Garner.
The thing that gives a lot of the fielders problems, especially the infielders, a lot of soft spots in this turf, a lot of seams, some of them an inch and a half wide.
Garner, who doubled his first time up, shoots another one into left center field, but this time Mookie Wilson is there. 2 down. And now Glenn Davis, and let's see what Davis does. See what, first off, Ojeda gives him, and then what Davis does. He hit a changeup, a low changeup for a single, his first time today. Sharply hit to left, but Kevin Mitchell had him played just right and makes the catch. And so after being pummeled in the first inning, Ojeda now has retired 6 in a row. And after 3, it is 3-0, the Astros lead. I was talking with Keith Hernandez earlier today about that call yesterday in New York by umpire Fred Brocklander, and here's what Keith said about it.
I knew it was going to be close, and you know, I'm not going to sit here and say he was out because I looked at the paper this morning, and I mean, he had it beat, and but there was a look of, I stretched right towards him. Once I caught the ball, I made eye contact. I looked at him, and he just had a questionable look on his face. So I figured I'd put something in there, and I just screamed out. And whether it affected the call or not, who knows? But we were just fortunate to get the call our way.
Crafty fellow. This is the headline of the Houston Post this morning. And there's been as much to do here over that as there has been in New York over Mike Scott and his sandpaper. And Bob Knepper Pitching to Hernandez, starts him with a curveball strike. Billy Hatcher in center field has a feed on that line drive, and you've got one out with Gary Carter coming up and Darryl Strawberry to follow. Mike Scott might get himself a heck of a deal with the sandpaper makers in the country. Those guys haven't had a whole lot of pub lately. Probably need a little shot in the arm.
Or the hand. Or the fingers.
Or whatever. He might be invited into the Magicians Club, too, because nobody can figure out how and when he does it. If he does it. One out. And Gary Carter fouls it back. Out of play. Bob Knepper, who went through some tough, as Charlie Kerfeld, who had a tough day yesterday. But Bob Knepper's a man who's had some tough years. But he had a good one this year, 17 and 12. But there have been times in the past when it was 5-15, 6-13, 9-16, and 9-12. Those are not the kind of the years you want to take into your history book. As Carter lifts another high fly ball to the right side. This one not hit as deeply as the one back in the first inning. And once again, Kevin Bass makes the put out. 2 down.
I remember when Knepper played in San Francisco, he said playing in San Francisco was like 4 years in a coal mine with a dirty scarf over your head. Said it was oppressive there. The conditions, of course, not the town. Candlestick Park, a very, very difficult park in which to pitch or hit.
And sometimes even to watch.
Or announce.
Start Strawberry with that change-up strike, breaking in over the inside part of the plate. Misses outside. 1-1. One and two. The crowd is in the game today. Wanted that one.
And another indication of what you picked up in the first inning about the animated reactions of Bob Knepper. Watch him on this pitch. You never see Bob Knepper doing this.
3-2 to Strawberry. Got it. He lulled him with off-speed pitches, in and out, breaking pitches, and then zipped the fastball past him. And he gets him in order. Middle of the fourth inning. 3-0 Houston.
All right, Kevin, we made the deal the other day about the shoes, and I just wanted you to know that I've kept my end of the bargain with shoe trees. That's with shoe trees. Oh, okay, so now your end of the bargain, the Sammy Davis Jr.
The Sammy Davis, man? I mean, like, you're just a real cool cat, man, for doing this for me. I mean that. I really do. And I just want to thank all the people in New York, man, because it's just been a really gas of a time for me. You know what I mean, man?
I can dig it, babe.
I know you can, because I can. Hey, I really thank you for these. These are nice.
You're welcome.
What do you pay about? $90 for these?
Oh, we won't get into that. Thanks a million.
All right.
How about Keith Jackson? One more time. Yes.
Okay, here we are, everybody. We're here at the LCS playoffs, and I'm Keith Jackson along with my co-host, Tim McCarver. What do you got to say about that, Tim? And we'll be back in a moment.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet.
The Astros leading 3-0. Kevin Bass leads off for them in the bottom of the fourth inning, followed by Jose Cruz, Alan Ashby. Jerry Klein tells me that Kevin Bass came by and told him to tell Tim McCarver a deal is a deal is a deal. You don't get the shoes back.
Oh,
that pitch is low.
Well, I guess I have to accept it, right? Deal's a deal. All right.
Outside corner, Kevin, for 1 ball and 1 strike. I want him to work some, though, in his imitation of me. Sammy was pretty good.
Got to work on you a little bit. Yeah. sent him a couple of tapes for this winter.
Up the middle, flagged by Ojeda. And Bob throws him out. One down, and coming up tonight, Game 7 of the American League Championship Series at Fenway Park in Boston. California Angels and the Boston Red Sox. John Candelaria, the veteran left-hander for the Angels, and the ace for the Red Sox, Roger Clemens. 8 o'clock Eastern Time here on ABC. Jose Cruz with a little weak bouncer to the mound, and Ojeda now has handled the first two himself. 2 down. I wonder what kind of a day it's been for Gene Mauch. I really have some feelings about Gene and how close he has been so many times, and I also have some feelings for Gene Autry, who's been a gentleman in this game for so long, invested so much of himself and his money in the game, and he's now in his late 70s. But they ain't playing, are they?
Nope.
Mauch, of course, has a more direct hand than Gene. But the Red Sox, seemingly on the ropes, out of it, fought their way back. Alan Ashby, line to the shortstop, first time, hits this in the air to the left side, where Kevin Mitchell has plenty of room for it. And so now Ojeda, after being banged around for 3 runs in the first inning, has retired 9 successive Astros. Houston leads it 3-0 after 4.
You know, this is not a putt that Nancy Lopez will just try to lag up. The player that she is, she'll do everything she can to make this birdie putt. I don't even see her leaving it short. Of course, she has a 2-shot lead. It's a little bit of a downhill putt. Most of the players from this side of the hole today have played it to break from left to right, and if anything, this putt moves up the hill and might move to Nancy's left.
Her husband, Ray Knight, looking on.
Of course. She's running for husband.
Nancy Lopez finishing birdie. She took the lead at the 12th hole, and she was never headed.
Ray Knight coming to the plate to lead off for the Mets in the 5th. Ray, talking with Tim McCarver, talked about his wife Nancy Lopez, the golfer, helping him with his mechanics.
Well, Timmy, the big thing is the mental aspect of the game. Nancy's so strong mentally, and she taught me, or has talked to me about basically the everyday approach. If I go 0 for 4, strike out with the bases loaded or something, not to carry it into my next at bat or the next day. Plus the fact that she's so aware of what I do fundamentally now that she's seen me play a lot, especially this year when she's stayed at home and after having the baby, watch me play. She knows when I open up or when I pull my head off the ball and things like that. And just having someone that's a student of the game and knows a lot about fundamentals and basic technique has really helped me, because if I'm doing something, I don't have to go to Bill Robinson necessarily to get righted. She's able to see those things, and she watches me very astutely from the behind home plate. She can tell when I'm doing wrong.
Got to help, I guess. Be an interesting supper table conversation, wouldn't it?
Surely would. Ray Knight married a hitting instructor.
Yeah. Jumps at the first pitch and chops it sharply foul off the face of the dugout. It'll be Knight, Tim Tuffle, and Rafael Santana, and his first time up today. Ray bounced out to the third baseman. Astros got 3 in the bottom of the first, and there's been zeros on both sides ever since. Mets have 1 hit in the ball game. That's a little number back to the mound for Knepper. Bob throws over to Glenn Davis for out number 1. Both pitchers right now, at least, seem to have all the hitters a little off balance.
In total control. The uprising by the Astros in the first inning, really the only serious offensive threat mounted by either team, but that could be a considerable threat and carry through because they scored 3 runs in the process.
Now Tuffle. man who has New York's only base hit in the on-deck circle, Santana. Phil Garner at third. Davis tags it. Throw was inside the bag. Glenn had to come down the line, but tags couple coming by.
Well, a good play by Garner, even though the throw was low. But look at Tim Tuffle, just like Marcus Allen would do on the 1-yard line for the Raiders. Tries to go up and over. There's Lawrence Taylor to make the tag.
And Rafael Santana now at the plate. Slow breaking curve, and Knepper puts his hands on his hips and stares in at Brocklander, and now shaking his head. I think Knepper's been looking at Brocklander a lot today.
Yeah,
He's had some pitches up there that he thought were good. Two and one now. Left side and foul. He got out in front of that one and gave it a pretty fair ride, didn't he?
Well, the Mets have just simply not put the good part of the bat on the ball. They entered the game with a 185 batting average. No team has ever won a league championship series with an average of below 220. An identical team batting average, 185, was the average of the National League champion St. Louis Cardinals in last year's World Series. They lost in 7.
Knepper jumping up to pull it in and throws him out. So the pitcher's now in control of the ball game as Houston leads it 3-0. Ron Darling, who will be involved in Game 7 tomorrow night for the Mets, sitting there on the bench. I think if I were Mike Scott, I'd put my hands in my pocket and just leave them there.
You know, and you promoted the game tonight that Al and Jim will carry from Fenway, and an interesting scenario is developing if Clemens wins tonight and the Astros win with Scott winning tomorrow night. The two main cogs of both pitching staffs
on swings and misses.
Will not be able to pitch in the World Series until Game 3, which will limit them to 2 starts, both Clemens and Mike Scott.
Dickie Thon up the middle over Ojeda's glove, but it's picked up quickly by Tuffle, and Tim throws him out, 1 down.
Which obviously means that you have to get there first, and the 4 out of 7 series has added a new twist that to start the World Series, a lot of pitching staffs, not that they'll be depleted, but their main guns may have been used to win the playoff series.
It might not even be beyond the pale that Jim DeShays could surface.
Yeah.
For Houston.
Without ever making an appearance in the National League Championship Series, right?
Pitch is inside to Bob Knepper. The sign out at right center field says the Houston crowds were sort of characterized as nice, calm folk watching the ball game. Sign out there today says no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? No more Mr. Nice Guy. There it is. I love that banner.
Gary almost whipped that one down to third, and it gets a laugh out of Bob. Both of them thought the pitch was over the inside corner, and both are shaking their head.
I think Bob Knepper might even agree that that's close to strike.
3-2 now. Astros are going after him, though. They're not sitting around waiting on him. They had that success in the first inning, and they're continuing to go early on the early count. Knepper walks.
Well, now Bobby Ojeda joins Bob Knepper in saying, where was that pitch? After that 3-2 pitch on that Brocklander said was outside, Ojeda just threw up his arms as if to say, where in the world was it? So now Knepper and Ojeda complaining with Brocklander.
I would imagine Fred will be glad this day's over.
And this series is over.
David Johnson starting to prowl around a little bit. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Houston Astros is one out. Bob Knepper at first base. Bill Doran is up there. Ball 1 to him. Astros leading in the ball game. Game number 6. 3-0. With the Mets leading in the series 3-2. The Astros trying to force the 7th game tomorrow night. That's to the second baseman. Couple, little quick pop over to the shortstop. And Doran beats it out. So they get the lead runner, Knepper, at second base. But Doran, with the good wheels, is on at first.
And actually a play made closer than it really should have been. Doran, a fast runner, but Teufel gets rid of it quickly, as does Santana. But Doran just beats it at first.
Now with 2 out, Billy Hatcher's at the plate. Trying to keep Doran in the neighborhood lest he take off, try to get to second base and set up something for Hatcher. Astros have stolen 7 bases, and Doran goes. Carter's throw. Safe. That's 8 stolen bases.
And we brought up the point yesterday about Billy Hatcher intentionally putting the bat in the eyes of Gary Carter. Now watch Hatcher. See him come down, no intention to bunt, but what that does, it keeps the catcher back there, and that could have been the difference, staying back as opposed to going out. The 8th stolen base of the series for the Astros.
Now Doran at second base, and Hatcher with a base hit can deliver him. Slow bouncer at third. No play for Knight. Throw back to third, and they got him. Doran overran the bag at third, and Ray Knight whips it back over there, and Bill Doran is out.
Tell you, baseball, as much as anything, a game of anticipation. And Ray Knight anticipated Doran rounding the bag and didn't even make the throw to first base. Now watch Doran. He's thinking home. If Knight makes the throw, the Astros with a 3-run lead, maybe I'll score. But nope, watch Santana. Alertly tagging out Bill Doran.
Nothing like a veteran.
That's right.
Back after this message from your local station.
Set your sights on the best in baseball. Order the 1986 World Series program. There are more than 100 pages of articles and photographs making the World Series program a real collector's item. Send $6 check or money order to World Series Program, P.O. Box 4686, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. P.O. Box 4686, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. Include your proper return address. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Now, Bill Doran seemingly bothered by his mistake in overrunning third and getting caught off. And you see the play again here as Ray Knight throws back to get him with Santana coming in behind the bag. And he's got to shake that mistake off now and going out there and play sound defense. As Lee Mazzilli comes to the plate, hitting for the pitcher Ojeda. Then it'll be Wilson and Mitchell against Bob Knepper. 3-0 ball game, Houston leading. I guess there's the old saying, you know, that knowledge and wisdom are 2 vital factors in one's life, but they're not necessarily related because wisdom comes only from having survived. And Ray Knight at third base and Phil Garner at third base typify what comes to you as you have survived over the years, persevere, at least in your profession. And Ray got his man that time. Lee Mazzilli, a switch hitter, up there right-handed against Knepper, and it's strike one on Lee, who hung his helmet over in Dallas for a time with the Texas Rangers. Inside corner, 2 strikes.
As a matter of fact, if the Astros win this game, the starting pitcher in tomorrow night's ball game for the Mets was the person for whom Lee Mazzilli was traded, Ron Darling, along with Walt Terrell of the Detroit Tigers.
Slider is off the inside, and your count is 1-2 now as Rick Aguilera is ready to come in relief in the bottom of the 6th inning, relieving Bob Ojeda. I'll tell you something, Knepper popped that glove that time. One out. That's his 5th strikeout in the ball game.
Similar to the pitch that he retired Kevin Mitchell on, with runners at first and second, the high fastball.
Mookie Wilson, top of the order. 3rd time at the plate. Has struck out swinging and walked and fouls that away to the right side. Well, that may go before this day is over, and if we do play a 7th game, you know it's going to go.
And that might hold up for some time,
it
too.
Might. Yep. Inside. Crowd is up on every pitch.
Knepper has been coming inside so much that the ball outside looks out of the strike zone, but Brock Lander calls it a strike.
Bill Garner at 3rd. Davey's been quiet so far today. David Johnson, the Mets manager.
As quiet as the Met bats.
Yep. Now it's Kevin Mitchell, hitless in 2 trips, struck out once. Under the elbows inside.
To give you an idea of how futile the Mets offense has been, especially the last 2 days, they had 3 runners, base runners, in the first 11 innings yesterday, and only 2 so far today.
That's pitching.
When you think about it, the Mets are fortunate, as you see Len Dykstra there. He'll probably get in there if the Astros go to a right-handed pitcher. But the Mets fortunate to be up 3 games to 2 with the way they've been swinging the bats.
Big curveball. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and that one just froze Kevin Mitchell. 2-2. Hard shot that Bill Doran flags down, slipped a little bit, but he's still got his man. So once again, Knepper retires the side in order. In the middle of the 6th, it's 3-0 Houston. Right-hander Rick Aguilera is in for the New York Mets in the bottom of the 6th inning. On the regular season, as you see his stats there for the championship series, Rick had a record of 10-7 with appearances in 28 ball games. He had 20 starts and pitched 2 complete games.
Tell you, the Met relievers have been as superb as the Astros starters. The Met relievers have not allowed an earned run in 10 innings of work, and only 1 run has been scored against them, and that was scored against Rick Aguilera in the 7th inning of Game 3.
He will pitch to Phil Garner, Len Davis, and Kevin Bass, and of course Bass is going to turn around and hit left-handed. 3-5-0 for Houston, 0-1-0 for New York. And Aguilera starts him with a fastball on the inside corner, strike one. Bringing a little heat to the mound now after the slow dancing stuff of Ojeda. Aguilera comes out from the right side and throws hard, has 2 strikes on the leadoff batter, Phil Garner. That's foul, right side. One of the great charms of the game, I guess, or on the other side, looking at it, one of the mysteries of this activity is people tear up a $300 suit trying to catch a $4 baseball. Struck him out. Garner chases and strikes out.
It was a sharp breaking slider out of the strike zone, and it was set up by the fastballs inside.
And Davis steps in. Past Knight into the corner. Davis on his way to second. Stands for the double. Dart down the line that Ray Knight couldn't quite get to.
That was all in a matter of reach as far as Ray Knight was concerned. Watch Knight's reaction. Your first 2 steps have to be very quick at the reaction position. Ball goes under his glove. Houston will try to capitalize on that just as much as they did when the ball went under Santana's glove back in the first inning to open up the 3-run rally.
Kevin Bass hitting left-handed. Was walked and bounced back to the pitcher. And Aguilera is outside, ball 1. Davis on second base and 1 out. Aguilera flags it, chases Davis back and throws out Bass. Now it'll be Jose Cruz coming up.
Tell you, Keith, there's a big difference in got to and I will, and the Astros are playing like they will more than they're playing like they have to. They are playing with a lot of confidence for a team who, if they lose, will be watching the World Series on television.
Jose has singled and bounced back to the mound. Knight handles this one. Throws across to Hernandez in time, and the side is retired. They strand Davis at second base. And at the end of 6 innings of play, the Astros lead the Mets 3-0.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Aguilera there waiting to come back to the mound, hoping that his teammates can generate some offense with Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, and Darryl Strawberry. The Mets have not had their leadoff man aboard since the final inning of game number 4, which was 18 innings ago.
My goodness. And this is the inning that they want to capitalize. They're down by 3. They have the meat of the order up, and their best chance in the last 3 innings to score a run, or 3 runs. 1 won't make it.
Nope. Bob Knepper working on a 1-hitter, leading 3-0. Strike 1 as Hernandez nips it foul. On the ground toward the second baseman, Bill Doran. 1 out. Gary Carter has hit a fly ball to right center that Bass caught, and one to short right that Bass caught. First time up, Carter gave it a pretty good ride. He sent Bass to the edge of the warning track. Ball is hit to center field. Hatcher drifting over to his left, makes the catch. And 2 are down.
I'll tell you, Knepper has not thrown a ball down the middle of the plate all afternoon.
No, he has not.
Outside, inside, curve ball. He's had the Mets chasing bad balls, high fastballs on 3 strikeouts. He has been absolutely masterful.
Strawberry fouls it back. Well, the hitter owns half the plate and the pitcher owns half the plate. Just depends on which half wins.
Well, the half the Mets have owned today, it's been more like a fifth.
Strawberry came into the ball game with 10 strikeouts, and Darrell now has 11 and dangerously close to 12. 1-2.
The Mets also allowing Knepper to pitch to his own tempo. I think if you slow him down a little bit, step out a little bit more on him, they may be more successful. Certainly this approach has not netted much.
Six strikeouts in the ball game now for Knepper. And in the middle of the 7th, 3-0 Astros. No, and the fat lady hasn't warmed up yet either. We'll go to the bottom 3rd of the order for Ashby, Thon, and Knepper. And Alan Ashby with Aguilera, the right-hander, on the mound, turns around and hits left-handed. He was hitless today twice as a right-handed hitter. Pitch is inside. Rick came on, gave up a double to Davis, but got the Astros out without damage in the bottom of the 6th. Ojeda went 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, walked 2, struck out 1. Sharply hit, right at Tuffle. 1 down. The 52 strikeouts is a league championship record. Royals had 51 in 7 games last year. Now the Houston Astros own the record. And as Tim said a little while ago, may not be through with it yet either. Up the, look what I found. Catch by Rick Aguilera as Thon lined it up the middle. Rick stuck the glove out, and there it was.
It really was just a reaction play. But I'll tell you one thing, pitchers are not usually thought of as good athletes. And the Mets pitching staff has some of the finest athletes as pitchers that I've ever seen on one staff.
You can really help yourself if you can play some defense.
Yes, sir.
Bob Knepper at the plate. On the mound, he's allowed 1 hit. At the plate, he has walked once and struck out looking once. That ball is drilled to right, but right to Strawberry. But I'll tell you, Robert nailed it. But he lines it right to Darryl Strawberry, and the side is retired. So Aguilera very effective, coming on in relief of Ojeda. And the score continues, 3-0 Astros. Back after this message from your local station.
IBM presents You Make the Call. While swinging at a pitch, a batter first hits the catcher's glove and then hits a weak ground ball to the first baseman, who throws to the pitcher. Is the batter out? You make the call. If a batter hits the catcher's glove while swinging, it's catcher's interference, and the batter is entitled to first base. So if you said the batter was not out, then you made the right call.
The top of the 8th inning now for the New York Mets. Ray Knight will lead it off. Tim Tuffle and Santana the shortstop. Knepper in complete control with a 1-hitter. twice in the game. The second inning, he is threw only 7 pitches, and the 5th inning only 9 pitches. So twice in this ball game, he's gone through an inning without getting into double figures on his pitcher.
And he's retired 13 in a row.
His the greatest number of pitches he's thrown in a single inning was the 3rd, when he threw 16 times to the plate. 26 pitches have been balls and 52 strikes. Pitch breaks off inside tonight for ball 1. Deshays, left-hander, up in the bullpen, along with Darwin for Houston now, down the right side. Inside corner.
Deshays, the left-hander, Darwin, the right-hander, just getting their throwing in.
Yes, indeed, because if relief is needed, it'll be named Smith. Shortstop Thon. $14 in a row.
The grimace on the face of Ray Knight tells the story of a 6-3 putout by Thon.
Now it's the second baseman, Tim Tuffle. Hitless in 2 trips. He might have used more of the middle of the plate on that pitch than any time during the ball game. 1-1.
He's in a bit of a different situation now. The Mets may be more inclined to take a strike in this situation, trying to fight for base runners.
Base hit. Tuffle jumped on the fastball and slapped it past the shortstop Thon. And New York has its second hit in the ball game.
And third base runner. They had 2 base runners in the 3rd inning and 1 here in the 8th.
The top of the order will be coming up for Houston next time around. But right now, Lenny Dykstra with the Mets pitcher spot coming up after Santana is in the on-deck circle as a potential pinch hitter. You've got 1 out. Tuffle at first base, and Rafael Santana, ball 1 at the plate. There's Lenny Dykstra. Roger McDowell has been warming up some in the New York pen, and he's right now a spectator. So apparently Roger's about ready. Smith is now up in the Houston bullpen. Dave Smith, 33 saves on the year, but a loser in the series. That's the Thon. Steps on the bag at second, throws to first. Double play.
A ball not hit hard enough normally for a double play. Santana didn't get out of the box, and watch Thon step, throw.
Middle of the 8th, 3-0 Astros. Rick Aguilera stays in the game, comes out to pitch his 3rd inning. A double play ensuring that. And he works to Bill Doran, top of the order, low, ball 1. Billy Hatcher is next, and then Phil Garner. Fouled off, and the umpire Brocklander takes it and almost knocked him down, and you know how the crowd reacts to that.
Yeah, that's when the crowd becomes kind of dehumanizing right here.
Yep.
These balls really hurt. And it comes off the glove of Carter and hits the mask of Fred Brocklander. Understandable reaction because of yesterday's call. but still not very nice when you think about it.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bill Doran. Tuffle, gravy bounce, throws him out. And Denny Walling is coming out of the dugout carrying a bat. So Hatcher, hitting right-handed, is up, and the man in the on-deck circle now is a left-handed hitter, Denny Walling. Hatcher had a fielder's choice on a play at second on Doran back in the first inning and scored Houston's first run. Since then, he is grounded to short, singled, and he's up now for the 4th time. Ray Knight at third, gobbles it up, and 2 down.
Now I don't think you'll see Neiman because nobody's on base. If either Hatcher or Doran were on base, well, then you bring in Neiman for a twofold reason. To hold the runner at first and also to pitch to Denny Walling.
Crowd is 45,718. That's the biggest crowd so far. But look out tomorrow night.
Hanging from the rafters, if there is a tomorrow night.
Not quite over yet. Mets have one more turn. Walling hits it to Tuffle. And Tim gets his second put out of the inning. Side is retired in order after 8 innings of play at the Astrodome. Game 6 must win for the Astros, and they lead it 3-0. The last time around for the New York Mets in game number 6, leading 3 games to 2. Bob Knepper, working with a 2-hitter, will be pitching to Lynn Dykstra, Mookie Wilson, and Kevin Mitchell, unless Davy Johnson decides to send somebody up. Terry Knepper, who's watching the game, and she seems as composed as her husband. Nice guy. Well, we'll have some fun with that tomorrow night, if there is a tomorrow night. Right now, Bob Knepper has to get out 3 more Mets. Remember tonight here on ABC, the American League Championship Series, Game 7 between the Angels and Red Sox, 8 Eastern Time from Fenway Park in Boston. With Dykstra at the plate, Walling comes in at third. Doug Harvey calls time. There's some streamers that come down out of the stands in the left field corner, so they'll tidy that up.
And to reiterate, the Mets with 3 base runners through the first 11 innings in yesterday's game. They've had 3 base runners in today's game, and on the heels of the Reykjavik aborted summit, I guess it would be appropriate to say that Knepper has had no problems with arm control.
Did you stay up late for that one?
I was traveling last night. Traveling can be boring.
Yes, you're right. It was. Strike 2. Knepper going right at Dykstra. Anderson and Smith now in the Houston bullpen. Two-strike pitch. Wouldn't chase it. 1-2. Lifted Right center in the gap. Hatcher on the move, can't get it. Dykstra pumping around second, heading for third. He'll stand at third with a triple. Boy, he's strong.
How in the world did he hit that breaking ball that appeared to be off the plate that far in the pull alley? Watch.
One-handed.
That shows you how strong he is. Hatcher runs and runs the ball, carries and carries, and Billy can't get to it. Boy, Dykstra is showing tremendous strength. Out on his front foot, one-handing the ball about 380 feet to right center.
And the Mets now break that string. They finally have a leadoff man aboard at third base in a 3-0 ball game, and here is Mookie Wilson. Back on the outside corner. I don't think Knepper threw him a bad pitch at all.
I don't either. You just got to tip your hat to Dykstra in a situation like that.
Strike 2 on Wilson. Leadoff man Dykstra at third with that triple. Mitchell is waiting. Wilson at the plate. Little bleeder off the glove of Doran. And Dykstra ambles in from third. It's a 3-1 ball game. A handle hit it right off the fists and had just enough on it to get it over Doran's glove.
Doran does not appear to pick this ball up. He kind of freezes, and then he comes in on the ball. By coming in on the ball, he technically does not try to catch the ball on the way down, but at its zenith.
I think if he had seen it, Tim, he'd have just go back 2 steps in the season.
I agree with you. I don't think he saw the ball.
To Kevin Mitchell, the pitch is high, ball 1. Knepper had 2 strikes on both those hitters. Unable to get either. That's a high chop, cut off by the third baseman Walling, who throws out Mitchell. The base runner Wilson goes to second. You've got 1 out.
Dennis Menke, the third base coach, and Hal Lanier reminding all the outfielders to throw the ball to second base on a base hit to the outfield. Don't worry about the runner at second. He is meaningless. The guy to get is Keith Hernandez. Throw the ball to second. That's what those 2 fingers mean that Lanier just put up.
But as Hernandez stands at the plate, he represents the tying run in a 3-1 ball game.
And if Hernandez gets on, I think Knepper's out of there.
Pitch is just high. Smith is ready. Carter waiting. All right. 2-1 to Hernandez. Ball is hitting the gap. Hatcher's on his horse. Going. Can't get it. It's against the wall. Here comes Mookie Wilson round third. He will score. Hernandez at second with a double. It's a 3-2 ball game. And Hal Lanier comes bouncing out of the dugout on his way to the mound, and he'll go to Dave Smith right here. So Knepper in almost complete control. He had stifled the Mets. But here in the top of the 9th inning, the Mets now put up 2 runs, and they have a total of 5 hits. Bob Knepper goes to the clubhouse.
I think a little history lesson is in order. You remember back in 1980, Game 5, the 8th inning, Nolan Ryan working to the Philadelphia Phillies. The series tied up at 2 games apiece. Ryan had a 3-run lead. And the Phillies came back to tie it. They won it on a Gary Maddox single in the 10th inning. Here's the base hit by Hernandez. The risk of falling behind to good hitters. And Knepper, who has been ahead all day, pitching a masterful ball game, gives up the fastball to Hernandez. And Hernandez now in scoring position, a 3-2 game. Wow.
He's a tough guy, Hernandez.
Here's a tough out, and there's a tough pitcher who pitched a sparkling ball game.
That's Bill Robinson, batting coach for the New York Mets, standing out at second base talking to Keith Hernandez as Dave Smith now comes into the game. Primary pitch is a forkball, but everybody was of the opinion that it was a forkball that didn't fork enough, that Dykstra hit out to beat him. He will pitch to Gary Carter. Darryl Strawberry to the on-deck circle. The tying run is out at second base in the top of the 9th inning. 3-2 Houston, a game that Houston must win or else they'll go home for the winner. Dave Smith, who had 33 saves for Houston during the regular season. High with a fastball, ball one. Smith beats a little on that call. Threw a fastball. Read high by Fred Brocklander, the plate umpire. That's on the corner. So Smith has come out of the bullpen. He's thrown 3 fastballs to Gary Carter. 2-2. He's thrown him 4 fastballs.
The 2-0 and the 2-1 fastball on the outside corner.
Outside, and the count is full, 3-2. And Smith takes a walk. Now straight back.
He's simply challenging Carter with fastballs.
Well, at 3-2, he may not want to throw the forkball here.
Do have first base open, but Strawberry's up next. You want to get Carter out of there.
You betcha.
Strawberry has hurt Smith this year with a 2-run homer to tie a ball game in this ballpark.
Walked him. Now Davy Johnson changes to the other foot.
It's funny how the glaring weakness of the Astros, the edge that gave the Mets the left-handed reliever in the bullpen, and that's the one thing that's absent in the Astros staff, is a left-hander in the bullpen. Jim Deshaies has not made an appearance yet. And now you're in a situation where it could be a very, very big point. Darryl Strawberry against Dave Smith.
Tying run, Hernandez at second base. Inside corner for a strike. Low and blocked by Ashby.
And a good play by Alan Ashby. Had that ball gotten by him, then it's second and third, and surely the Astros would have had to walk Darryl Strawberry to get to Knight.
Inside. And again, Smith going with his best hard one, challenging the Mets hitters. The count on Strawberry is 2-1 after he walked Carter. Inside again. 3-1.
Highly uncharacteristic of Dave Smith, normally with excellent control, and that ball almost hit Darryl Strawberry in the right knee.
Anderson up in the Houston bullpen now. Larry Anderson. Foul back. And it's a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Darryl Strawberry.
You have an interesting situation here. First and second, 1 out. A 3-2 count. Do you send the runners? Strawberry led the Mets in strikeouts this year. I doubt that the runners will be moving. We'll see.
Anderson hurried in the Houston bullpen. High drive, right side foul. Upper deck.
Oh.
And the crowd oohs and ahs over that a little bit. And the count remains 3-2. Walked him. The bases are loaded. The tying run goes over to third with 1 out, and Ray Knight coming to the plate. Dave Smith, after Hernandez double, comes in to walk Carter. Now he has walked Strawberry. And with only 1 out, Hernandez, the tying run, is at third.
The Astro infield playing in double play depth. And that's proper because Knight is not a fast runner. Even on a less than average hit ball, they will probably have a chance to turn the double play on Ray Knight if he puts it at somebody.
Outside corner. Knight beefs. Strike 1. Danny Heap on deck, swinging a bat for the Mets. The double play right here would be the big play for Houston. Would it ever? Foul back. 2 strikes on Ray Knight. Two-strike pitch. Outside. 1-2. Through the fork ball, it just missed outside.
Hal Lanier's going out to the mound, and I'll guarantee you, if he argues about a ball or a strike pitch right here, then he's out of the ball game. What he's going to do is allow Brocklander to come out right now. This is Lanier's baiting Brocklander.
Thon is upset over it. Dickie Thon now being pushed away from the pitching mound, back to his position as Brocklander has come to the mound, and Hal Lanier is engaging Brocklander in conversation. Balls and strikes are not a subject of debate.
I think Hal Lanier intimidating Brocklander right now. He wanted this pitch, and it appeared to be just off the plate. It looked like it was a ball. But I'll tell you, if I'm Ray Knight right now, I'm swinging at anything. Because if Brocklander is intimidatable, well, Lanier just did it to him. And he may call anything that Smith throws up there a strike right now. So if you're Ray Knight, you're up there hacking.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, tying run, third base, top of the 9th inning. 3-2, Houston leads. And that's pop foul straight back. High fly ball, gap, right center. Hatcher goes over, makes, no, it is Bass cutting it off. Here comes Hernandez from third. He scores. The game is tied on the sacrifice fly deep to right center by Ray Knight.
How in the world do you stay calm here? Well, you don't. You don't. Ray Knight on the high fastball drives Bass and Hatcher back. It's Bass that makes the play. Carter going to third base, Strawberry going to second, and we have ourselves a tie ball game.
And Wally Backman has now picked up the bat and is swinging it and coming to the plate. The go-ahead run now has moved over to third base in Gary Carter.
Bob Knepper's got to be thinking, how in the world did I come away with a no decision in this game?
He had absolutely shut him down until the top of this inning. Dykstra led off, hit a triple, banged off the wall in right center. Wilson singled. Mitchell was an out to third. Then Hernandez doubled. And they're going to walk Backman.
I'll tell you, this is an interesting call on the part of Hal Lanier, and I'll tell you why. Smith came in and walked Carter. He walked Strawberry, and now by intentionally walking Backman, he's loading the bases and no place to put Danny Heap, the pinch hitter. Smith has been wild.
Heap will be hitting for Santana, the shortstop. So Smith coming on in relief of Knepper. As you said, walk Carter, walk Strawberry. Now they've walked Backman. The Mets have tied the game at 3 in the top of the 9th inning. And Danny Heap is at the plate, 1 for 3 in the championship series. A former Astro who was here in 1980 in the fight against the Phillies. And the first pitch in there for a strike. 2 out now, and the base is loaded with Carter over at third. Strawberry is down at second, and Backman at first. But Heap is the man. 2 strikes. That was a fork ball. Three and 2. There is no place to put him.
Carter telling Strawberry to make sure he pitches. Smith will work from the stretch to hold the runners just in case of a long single.
3-2 to Danny Heap. Foul ball.
That was a fork ball, too. Of all things, a 3-2 fork ball with the bases loaded, 2 outs.
Of course, Heap's a good fastball hitter.
Yep.
Struck him out. The Mets send 9 hitters to the plate in the top of the 9th inning. They score 3 runs. They leave 3. The score is tied 3-3. And we'll be back after this message from your local station.
Now Dykstra behind on the count, 2 strikes. Now the pitch on the way. And a high fly hit the right center field, pretty deep. On the run, on the run, on the run. Hatcher can't reach it. Base hit bouncing off the wall. Dykstra around second, racing for third. He's in standing with a triple. Dykstra a 3 base hit. Now Mookie standing in. Mookie 0 for 2 and a walk. And the pitch on the way. And a soft line drive to second, base hit. It can't be reached by a jumping second baseman, Billy Doran. Dykstra in to score. It's 3-1. The tying run, Mitchell, will be coming to bat. And the pitch on the way. Ground ball hit slowly toward third. Walling will cut it off. The throw to first in time for the out. Mookie Wilson moves over to second. Keith Hernandez will be coming up. And a fly ball well hit to right center. Billy Hatcher on the run. On the run, way back. Can't get it. Base hit. Over his head. Wilson around third. Mookie will score. 3-2. And the tying run on second. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Darryl Strawberry. Ball 4. The bases are loaded. Ray Knight will be coming up. Now the tying run is 90 feet away at third base. The pitch. Fly ball, well hit to right center field. The game will be tied up. Hernandez tagging up. Ball caught by Kevin Bass. Hernandez will score. Tie ball game. Runners on second and third. Ray Knight has tied it up with a sacrifice fly to right center field.
Bitterly disappointed Bob Knepper pitched so brilliantly into the top of the 9th inning. But the Mets wound up sending 9 men to the plate, scored 3 runs to tie. While we were away, Bob Lanier came out. Dave Smith said something to Brocklander. They exchanged words. Lanier came out, and this is on tape, came out to talk to Brocklander. It was an animated conversation, but Lanier eventually went back to the dugout. Now the changes for the New York Mets. Roger McDowell is on the mound. That's his second appearance in the series. Second baseman is Wally Backman. The shortstop is Kevin Elster. Mookie Wilson moves to left field, and Lynn Dykstra goes into center field. And McDowell pitches to Glenn Davis, then Kevin Bass and Jose Cruz. So there are the changes in the New York defensive alignment. Bottom of the ninth inning, Glenn Davis, who had 31 home runs on the season, 17 here, hits a high bouncer. Ray Knight had him play deep at third and throws him out. Knight, guarding the line, was way back behind the bag and made the long throw with plenty of time.
And with a guy like Roger McDowell pitching at pull hitter like Glenn Davis, you guard the line, and the long throw gets Davis easily.
Now it is Kevin Bass. All low.
Remember, Roger McDowell 0-3 against the Houston Astros this year. 0-3.
Sinker ball pitcher.
Sinker slider. Outstanding sinker.
1-1 to Bass. The shortstop Elster. And Bass is out. 2 down.
Think about Kevin Elster, who played in Jackson, Mississippi this year. Called up right before the 1st of September to qualify for the playoffs. Young man thrown right into the heat of battle. Man.
McDowell pitches to Jose Cruz, low and away. 2 down and nobody on in the bottom of the ninth inning in a 3-3 ball game. Jose trying to put it in the seats, and it's 1-1.
Well, if you're thinking that way, McDowell gave up 4 home runs this year. 3 were game-winning home runs, and 1 to Craig Reynolds of the Astros.
1-2 to Cruz. Left field, hit well. Wilson over. Side retired. Phew. We're going to go extra innings for the second game in a row. A 3-3 tie. All right. The 45,000 plus in the Astrodome take a deep breath as Lynn Dykstra, who started the explosion in the top of the ninth inning, leads off in the top of the 10th inning against Dave Smith. He hit his triple off Bob Knepper. Mookie Wilson on deck, and then Kevin Elster for New York in the top of the 10th inning. Dykstra hits the ball to the left side for Jose Cruz, and he makes the catch. 1 out.
And again, a pitch out of the strike zone. Think about it. Dave Smith has walked 3 of the 5 batters that he's faced. And he struck out Danny Heap on a bad pitch, 3-2. Ray Knight on the 2-2 pitch, and then the 3-2 pitch to Dykstra out of the strike zone. He has faced 6, pardon me. So of the 6, his control is not good at all.
High pop up to the left side. Dickie Thon drifts over and makes the catch for out number 2 as Mookie Wilson pops out. Ron Darling scheduled to start for the Mets if there is a 7th game tomorrow night against Mike Scott.
But hoping to start Saturday against either the Red Sox or the Angels.
The Red Sox and Angels on tonight. Game 7 of the American League Championship Series from Fenway Park in Boston. Roger Clemens for the Red Sox and John Candelaria for the Angels. Now it is Kevin Elster. Foul back, out of play. Young man who is out of California, was at Jackson, Mississippi, and called up to the Mets. Got into his first ball game in September, wasn't it?
Elster batted .259 with the Jackson Mets this year.
Keith Hernandez on deck circle. Strike 1 pitch to Elster. Inside corner, 2 strikes. The longer Smith works, it may well be the tougher he'll get. Struck out Elster swinging for the 3rd out, gets him in order in the top of the 10th, and we'll be back to Game 6 of the National League Championship Series after this message from your local station. During the break, Bill Robinson stopped at home plate and had more conversation with Fred Brocklander about the ball. He had asked during the inning to see the ball and prolonged it.
I question whether it's right to get the Mets to start thinking about the scuffing incidents again. It obviously hasn't worked up to now, and doubtful that it'll work tomorrow night if there is a game.
Alan Ashby leads off. Dickie Thon will follow. And then the pitcher spot as Aurelio Lopez is now up throwing in the bullpen for Houston. Great play, Hernandez at first base. One out.
Alan Ashby hit it hard, but to the wrong guy. Look at Hernandez. He doesn't guard the line in this situation. Had he been on the line, that ball is a base hit. Get to looking at him playing first base, and you wonder how anybody ever gets a hit on the ground to the right side.
Craig Reynolds is coming up to hit for Thon as you look at it one more time.
That's that in-between hop. It's not the short hop, a much tougher hop to handle. Even though on the rug, it's a much more true hop.
Dave Smith is bringing a bat to the on-deck circle. That will depend, I think, on what happens with Craig Reynolds. Of course, Reynolds will go in to play shortstop, with Thon being lifted from the batting order.
Well, I'll tell you what happened to Craig Reynolds back on July 19th. Roger McDowell worked 40 appearances without giving up a home run, and it was Craig Reynolds who hit the first home run, a game winner against Roger McDowell, the 19th of July.
And now Terry Poole has come to the on-deck circle, and Smith has gone back. That means Aurelio Lopez will be coming on to pitch if we go to the top of the 11th inning. Foul into the Houston bullpen. Again, jerked sharply into the Houston bullpen. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And the bullpens of both clubs, really the difference in this series. Dave Smith's lost a game. Charlie Kerfeld has lost a game. And the Mets relievers in 14 of the 3rd innings have not given up an earned run.
A dramatic statistic. Foul tip held by Carter, and Reynolds is gone. 2 down, and here's Terry Poole.
I think Craig Reynolds possibly thought this ball may have hit the dirt before Carter caught it.
They have.
Did it?
They have.
It was very close. Look at Reynolds looking back. He can't see, but that ball appeared that it was possibly a short hop.
Yep. Remember tonight, Game 7, the American League Championship Series. Al Michaels and Jim Palmer and our guys in Fenway Park in Boston, with John Candelaria and Roger Clemens scheduled as the pitchers. And Terry Poole swings and misses on a sinker for strike 1. Hernandez at first base, guarding the line on the right side. Ray Knight even to the bag at 3rd. Terry Poole fouls it off, and he's behind 2 strikes.
I think Keith Hernandez, biographer, should name a book, if they opt to do a book about that man, and name it In the Game. I've never seen a man in the game as much as Keith Hernandez.
Poole hits it. Fair ball. Hernandez fields. McDowell covers. And they get the put out for the 3rd out. So they get him in order. And we go to the bottom of the 11th inning. Let's go back and have another look from this angle on that foul tip by Craig Reynolds. He thought it hit the dirt.
Remember, once a hitter fouls the ball off, if it hits the dirt, it is not a strikeout.
You can't tell.
You really can't tell. It appeared that Carter had the web of the glove right there, but anyway, the Mets got the call.
All right, let's look ahead and tuck this away as the Mets get ready to come to the plate with Hernandez leading off. But in the bottom of the 11th inning, it will be Doran, Hatcher, and Walling, the top of the order for the Houston Astros. But right now, it's the middle folks for the Mets. It's Hernandez, it's Carter, it's Strawberry. And Larry Anderson is now on the mound in the top of the 11th inning, pitching for the Houston Astros. This is his 2nd appearance in the championship series. And the first pitch is a fastball high. Keith Hernandez with a double back in the 9th inning that played a major role in getting things rolling for New York to tie. 3-3 ball game as Anderson is down low inside for 2 balls and no strikes.
Anderson, the type of pitcher who likes to pitch left-handers inside. He has a biting slider inside and a sinker away.
2-1. Aurelio Lopez stays up in the pen on the Houston side. So they chose Anderson. Hal Lanier chose Anderson over Lopez. And Hernandez fouls it back. Aurelio could be a situation pitcher here. He might want him to go to one man.
Well, it is a bit of a surprise that Anderson was chosen
I'm surprised. Yep.
over Lopez. Lopez with 7 saves on the year. Anderson picked up after being released by the Phillies.
2-2 as Hernandez fouls it back. You're talking about a pitcher working inside, and when you start talking about that to a left-handed hitter, Strawberry jumps right up, doesn't he?
Surely does. Any ball down and in is a long ball of both Hernandez and Strawberry.
Back up the middle. Reynolds, the shortstop. Got him. The pitching mound took the sting out of it. If it doesn't hit the mound so solid, it's into center field.
That's exactly what happened. The ball hit the mound, it pops right up, and Reynolds, who is not considered as good a shortstop as Thon, watch the ball almost hit the pitching rubber. I mean, it came within inches, it appeared, of hitting the rubber. Had that ball not hit the mound, it's a sure base hit, so maybe the ball is starting to bounce the Astros' way.
Close play, but he's out. And now Gary Carter. Strike one.
He was out.
Yep.
Just had him by a shoelace. The whip, not the length.
Strike one to Carter. It's up high, ball one. I welcome the opportunity to laugh. This thing is pressure packed.
I'll guarantee you, whether you're watching it or playing in it, watching it might be tougher than playing in it.
2 balls and a strike. The man on deck is Darryl Strawberry. 3-1. Walked in. All right, Gary Carter to first base. Not a lot of speed there. Darryl Strawberry steps in. David Johnson.
Glenn Davis playing behind Carter, and that's the proper play at first base. That'll give him more room on a predictable ground ball by Strawberry.
High pop left side. Denny Walling going down the line. Foul ground. Makes the catch. And the crowd erupts. And now Larry Anderson will pitch to Ray Knight.
Okay, it sounds so redundant to say that was a big pitch. There have been so many in this ball game and in this series, but certainly no pitch was bigger than the one to Strawberry.
Knight fouls to the right side. I don't know, you just sort of had the sense, the feeling that Strawberry was going to do something.
The situation was right for Strawberry.
1 strike count on Ray Knight. Outside corner, 2 strikes. A 3-3 ball game. And the Mets hitting in the top of the 11th inning. The Mets scored 3 times in the 9th to tie, having been silent all day. Houston got all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the 1st inning. And Knight strikes out. He chased that slider outside and struck out. And the Mets are turned away, stranding Gary Carter at first base, and we're headed for the bottom of the 11th inning. And here you see that slider running away from him. Here's the close play at first in the inning, but Hernandez clearly was out. And here's Houston coming up next in the bottom of the 11th, a 3-3 tie. Bill Doran, Billy Hatcher, Denny Walling scheduled to the plate for the Houston Astros in the bottom of the 11th inning. Roger McDowell on the mound, the 3rd Mets pitcher, came on in the 9th inning. It's his game right now.
Roger working his 3rd inning. He has worked over 3 innings only 2 times this year.
Bill Doran has hit a home run in the championship series and did it left-handed. To the shortstop, Elster. Loops his throw across, has a nice easy motion at shortstop, and the ball seemingly gets there in good time. 1 out. Billy Hatcher to the plate. Has a base hit in 4 trips and has scored a run. Scored the first run of the game. Strike 1. 15 consecutive Astros retired. Chopper is foul.
More you see Sid Fernandez warming in the bullpen. McDowell being the 2nd hitter in the top of the 12th inning, if it goes that far. Fernandez normally a starting pitcher, and he is throwing hard down there.
He is down.
He really is. So he could enter the game in the bottom of the 12th because Orozco has worked 2 innings in yesterday's ball game. We'll see.
Knight gloves it. Loops the throw. Got him. Hatcher pounding just as hard as he could, and just simply couldn't get there.
What a play by Ray Knight. He throws in the same motion. Watch, he's coming down, he's ready to throw and throws off his back leg. That is an extremely difficult play, and he made it.
And you've got 2 out. And Denny Wally, the hitter for Houston. Chopper. Walling going as fast as possible, but not fast enough. As McDowell camped under it and finally got a hold of it and threw him out by half a step. So the Astros are gone at the bottom of the 11th in order. And we're headed now for the top of the 12th for the Mets. As you have another look at the play, and the Mets will have the bottom third of the order coming up, but it's not a gimme. It's Backman, the pitcher spot, and then Dykstra. And here's the play at first. Close, but clearly out. So 11 complete, and we're even at 3-3.
Watch how Keith Hernandez, normally giving the target inside in fair territory, shifts to the outside because McDowell ends up in foul territory. He's going in, and now he shifts in foul territory because that's where McDowell is.
You know, McDowell almost hit Walling with
Surely
that
did. He certainly did.
Wally Backman, pitcher's spot. And the pitcher's out there right now, McDowell, and then Lynn Dykstra. Backman up for the second time today. He was walked intentionally when he first came up as a pinch hitter for Tuffle. Chop to the first baseman, 1 bounce. Davis makes the play, 1 down. And now the pitcher McDowell will come to the plate. If there is a 7th game, it'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night here on ABC, with Mike Scott scheduled for Houston, Ron Darling scheduled for the Mets. But our first problem is resolving this one. It was 3-0 from the first inning on for Houston. The Mets had 9 people to the plate in the top of the 9th, scored it, and the last out was recorded with the bases loaded. Anderson is in with a strike to McDowell.
Normally Davey Johnson would use a pinch hitter here, but he's only got 1 pinch hitter left. That's Howard Johnson. He is the only available player left to hit for the Mets unless Johnson uses a pitcher. Of course, you do have Ed Hearn. Ed Hearn has not been to bat, but you hate to use that second catcher.
Broken bat, roller to Doran at second, 2 down. Yeah, you spin that second catcher, and then somebody gets bit. Gary gets bit behind the plate. You got a problem.
And you have no one left to go behind there. The Mets carrying only 2 catchers, as are the Houston Astros.
Now it is Lynn Dykstra. And the crowd kind of groaning and seeing him come up because he's been double poisoned for Houston. That's the folks left on the bench. Foul back. It was Dykstra's triple on a good pitch from Bob Knepper that started this whole thing for the Mets back in the top of the 9th inning when they scored their 3 runs to tie. Shortstop Reynolds has it. So the Mets put aside in the top of the 12th inning. We'll be back after this message from your local stations. A 3-3 tie. The crowd on its feet at the Astrodome, more than 45,718 to be exact, as Glenn Davis, Kevin Bass, and Jose Cruz are scheduled up in the bottom of the 12th inning. The Astros have their power hitters coming to the plate. Davis had 17 big ones in the dome this year. 18, including that first game. Inside, it almost hit him. Fastball.
Looked like this pitch went between his waist and his belt buckle. How in the world did it miss him? Oh.
One pitch. That's a foul ball. Back a third. Outfield is on the edge of Harris County.
They are rather deep, yes. Of course, you have to respect Glenn Davis's power. Only the second Astro ever to hit more than 30 home runs in a season. 17 in this ballpark.
Ball bounces as he swings and misses on a sailing slider or a sinker, and it is out number one. So McDowell disposes of Houston's primary home run hitter on a strikeout.
Really a fine play by Carter. Look at him shift out. He catches the short hop and then decides that since he can't catch Davis, he'll throw to Hernandez.
Now it is Kevin Bass. Ball one. Fastball just low. Over the mound, bouncing into center field, base hit for Bass. 18 Astros had gone down in order until Bass's bouncing single up the middle. And now Roger McDowell, as Davey Johnson and Mel Stottlemyre look on, will be pitching to Jose Cruz.
Well, Bass is going to be running. It's just a matter of when. I'll tell you, when he does run with McDowell pitching, it's very difficult for Carter, who has had problems throwing in this series, to throw the sinker baller because most of the time it's going to be low. Not a good position to make a strong throw.
Sinker, and Cruz can't get it. Fouled at the plate, and 2 strikes on Cruz. Just inside, close.
This is a good running situation right here. Cruz will protect the plate and the runner.
And the pitch is just inside and low.
I'm really surprised that Bass has not taken off up to this time. Dennis Menke flashing some signs.
Well, he really hasn't put his foot on the rug yet.
No, he hasn't. He's shown really no signs of running. I'm surprised.
McDowell now dictating the tempo. Bass goes. Pitch is outside. Carter's throw. He's out. Gary Carter's throw was absolutely on the money. I mean, he couldn't have been better. And the pitch was outside off the plate, which gave him the opportunity to throw.
Even though the ball was really tailing away. And what happens is a catcher has to bring that ball back up to the right shoulder for the transfer. Carter did it quickly and has Bass on an absolutely perfect throw.
And the count on Jose Cruz now, 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out. Bouncer to the right side for Backman. And the side's retired. So we are headed now for the 13th in a 3-3 tie. The top of the 13th inning scheduled up for the New York Mets. The top of the order: Mookie Wilson, Kevin Elster, and Keith Hernandez against Larry Anderson. Anderson now headed for his 3rd inning of work. being the third Houston pitcher. Knepper, brilliant for 8 1/3. Then Smith, not effective, and Anderson. Coming up at 8 o'clock tonight, more baseball that will perhaps, I don't know if it could have any more drama. I don't think it have any more than this. The only thing that might make it a little different than this one is that's Game 7. They aren't going to play anymore in that one. They got to get a decision and somebody's going home. But it's John Candelaria for the California Angels and Roger Clemens for the Boston Red Sox. Al Michaels and Jim Palmer.
Ooh. And what drove those two teams to Game 7 was because of what happened in Game 5, that remarkable game on Sunday, and then the Red Sox in a blowout last night, winning big, 10-4. By the way, this is farther than any League Championship Series game has ever gone. Previous record was 12 innings. And the National League, Cincinnati at New York, as you chronicled yesterday, Keith, and Minnesota at Baltimore, October 4th, 1969.
These two teams have put a lot of new numbers in the record book.
They certainly have. A lot of goose eggs up there, too.
Betcha. 3-3 tie as Mookie Wilson steps in, swings and misses. Larry Anderson was for a fleeting time unemployed earlier this year. The Astros picked him up when he was cut for the Phillies, and now he's standing pretty tall out on that mound. Flags it down and throws out Mookie Wilson. Now Kevin Elster. Is he Walter Mitty? How many times has someone stepped from the shadows in moments like this? Pitch is outside and high, ball 1. 1-1 count on Elster. 1-2. That's a nested little slider.
It certainly is. That's that slot that he works to left-handed hitters, inside on left-handed hitters, and away on right-handed hitters. And when you're in a situation like that, or like this is, you're not going to get beat on anything but your best, and that's his best, that slider.
Deflected to Doran at second base, and he throws him out. If Anderson doesn't get a piece of it, it might well have been a base hit.
I guess that brings about a reflection of the deflection by the mound on the ball that Hernandez hit, leading off the 11. That ball's a base hit. Hernandez ball would have been a base hit. This is some ball game.
Now Keith Hernandez. He struck out looking, fly ball center, grounded out second baseman, doubled, scored a run, bounced out to the shortstop. Shortstop Reynolds, ball hit right to him. So Larry Anderson continues a very impressive performance as he gets the Mets in order in the top of the 13th inning. And we continue with a 3-3 tie. And Houston will bring to the plate Ashby, Reynolds, and then we'll see. Here we go to the bottom of the 13th inning. This is the longest game since 1916 in postseason play, when Boston beat Brooklyn 2-1 in 14 innings. And you know who the winning pitcher was, and if you tell him, I'm going to throw something at you.
I'm not going to tell him.
Babe Ruth was the winning pitcher.
George Herman Ruth, my goodness.
Gail is up amongst the Astro faithful, clapping her hands as her husband Alan Ashby, the Houston catcher, comes to the plate to lead off, and Craig Reynolds to the on-deck circle, and we'll wait and see what happens with the pitcher spot. Hal Lanier, like Davey Johnson, getting pretty low on people to send to the plate. And the first pitch bites that inside corner for a strike against Ashby. He's got Pankovich down there, who's a right-handed hitter. He has Davey Lopes down there, who's a right-handed hitter. He has John Misrock, who's a left-handed hitter, but Misrock's a catcher. Whether or not you want to spin that second catcher. Low, ball 1. 1-1.
Wally Backman, because of the speed of Alan Ashby, is playing in shallow right field.
Mookie's well back in left. High in the air. Left center field. Dykstra has called off Wilson, and Lynn makes the catch for out number 1. Now it's the shortstop, Craig Reynolds. And though McDowell hasn't many times traveled past 3 innings, he still looks very strong, very effective. And the man who was stunned by the turnaround of things in the top of the 9th inning, the starting pitcher, Bob Knepper. Pankovic has come out, right-handed hitter, Jim Pankovic. So he's going to go to the pitcher's spot. It'll be his second appearance in the series. Hits it on the ground to Keith Hernandez at first. McDowell covers, and you got 2 down. And Pankovic is going to come up. Four 2/3, the longest outing of Roger McDowell's career. Though the books, yeah, 4 2/3. That's right.
His longest outing this year, 4 innings. He worked 4 innings against the Montreal Expos, picking up a save August 1st. He has still been effective.
Pankovic at the plate. Takes a strike. Bill Doran is on deck. 2 down, nobody aboard. Houston hitting in the bottom of the 13th inning. Sharply hit. Knight down the line, throws and gets it. So the Astros are blunted in the bottom of the 13th, and we roll along to the top of the 14th in a 3-3 tie. Well, that old expression, "to the wall," certainly fits here, because it looked like Houston had it in hand and then bang, the Mets erupt, and ever since then both teams have been quiet.
Well, this isn't a baseball game, it's insurgency, I think. I mean, these two teams are going at each other as though there were no tomorrow, and it's interesting in that in the Houston Astros case, there will be no tomorrow if they lose tonight's ball game. And it is tonight, a day game that is turned tonight.
Pitching change here for Houston. Aurelio Lopez has come in. Certainly not among the fireballers of this generation.
No, a lot of screwballs. Different from Larry Anderson, certainly. And maybe that was in Hal Lanier's thinking, because Anderson had the slider going into the left-handed hitters. Lopez, conversely, with the screwball going away from the left-handed hitters.
He will be pitching to Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, and Ray Knight as he comes out to work the top of the 14th inning. Aurelio's been in the cooker before. Certainly was a prominent figure for the Detroit Tigers a couple of years ago. This game isn't doing anybody's batting average any good either.
Only 12 hits, 7 for Houston, 5 for the Mets.
And Lopez first pitch in the top of the 14th inning to Carter is outside for ball 1. Orozco is now headed for the bullpen for New York. Ball is hit, punched to the right side, drops in front of Kevin Bass for a base hit, and Gary Carter is aboard in the top of the 14th inning with Darryl Strawberry coming to the plate.
And since the 3-run ninth, that is only the second base runner for the New York Mets. The only other runner was Gary Carter his last time up. He walked in the 11th.
Orozco is beginning to throw in the New York Mets bullpen. He was in the game yesterday. Darryl Strawberry. And the pitch is high. There is nobody in the Houston bullpen.
And there's nobody thinking bunt for Darryl Strawberry, as you see Orozco warming up.
There he is now. Darwin's on his way. Danny Darwin heading for the Houston bullpen. And he turns that Scroogey over to make it 2 balls and no strikes as it missed the outside corner. Screwball, I guess, would figure is his out pitch primarily, wouldn't it?
Especially to a left-handed hitter.
Tries to come inside with it. Now he's behind. 3 balls and no strikes. And Gary Carter's on first base. The last thing in the world that Hal Lanier wants to see here is that go-ahead run at second base with nobody out. Even though Carter doesn't represent great speed. Walked him.
Now we'll see if Ray Knight bunts. Hal Lanier is flashing signs to the third baseman or second baseman. Looks like Bill Doran in this case. Gary Carter may be removed for a pinch runner.
He's come over to talk to Bud Harrelson. No, he's going to stay in.
And Ray Knight now down to talk to Bud Harrelson. Doran, Reynolds, Walling talking to Lopez. Got a field of conversation out there. But the Astros do have a rotation play. And in the rotation play, what happens? The third baseman and first baseman charge. The shortstop covers third. The second baseman covers first. So we'll see if it's on right here. No surety that Knight is bunting.
Well, it was Knight's sacrifice fly that produced the tying run for New York back in the 9th inning. Might have indicated bunt there.
And that's why the Astros didn't put on the rotation play. Walling at third. Now Doran in to talk to Lopez. If you're not sure that a batter is bunting, you're less inclined to put on the rotation play.
Now he shows bunt and puts it down. And the pitcher Lopez has got to make the play to third. And he got him. So the lead runner Carter is thrown out at third. And here's that element of foot speed involved right here.
It's exactly right. Gary Carter at second base. You can't really fault Gary. The bunt was too hard. Lopez on it like a cat. And he has Carter easily at third base. See, a hitter tries to bunt the ball to make the third baseman field it. But in this case, the third baseman fields the ball for the out from the pitcher.
And now it's Wally Backman with 1 out and Darryl Strawberry at second base. And he has more speed. And Howard Johnson has now come out of the Mets dugout with a bat in his hand. The last of the pinch hitters, unless you include the catcher Hearn. Inside corner to Backman with a slider. Or strike 1 called by Fred Brocklender, the plate umpire.
Darryl Strawberry considers third base easier to steal than second. Even with the left-handed hitter up there, if the Astros don't pay heed to Strawberry, he'll take off.
Base hit right field. Strawberry coming around third. Bass charges and throws high, sails to the backstop. And the runners move up as Bass had trouble getting the ball out of his glove, never had a grip on it, and threw it to the backstop, and the Mets go to the lead 4-3.
Kevin Bass surely would have had a play on Strawberry had he not had trouble getting the ball out of his glove. A screwball. It's not hit sharply, but Bass playing very shallow. Now watch the difficulty. There, the little hesitation, and the throw over the head of Ashby nets a run for the Mets.
I would think there's got to be an error on the throw in from Bass.
Allowing
advancing the runners. Yep.
Right, allowing Backman going to second base. You know, that could have been a blessing in disguise, the aborted bunt play, because that made the Astros have to pitch to Wally Backman. Otherwise, they walk him and face Johnson with the bases loaded and 1 out.
So Johnson is now hitting for the pitcher, McDowell. And Orozco is in the bullpen. Howard Johnson is going to be put on, I think.
Well, what'll happen, Lanier, instead of putting a runner on, guessing that this might be a squeeze play, will pitch out 4 times. He's done it against the Mets this year. We'll see if they do it again. See, they act like they're going to pitch to him and then pitch out 4 times.
They pitch to him and pop him up. And Ashby comes back to the screen in foul ground, makes the catch. And you've got 2 out.
And I guess the reason they did go ahead and pitch to him was because Lenny Dykstra was on deck.
Dykstra has been nothing but trouble for him. So, a 4-3 lead for the Mets now in the top of the 14th inning with Ray Knight at third, Wally Backman at second, 2 down, and they will walk Dykstra.
You have a left-handed hitter, actually Wilson, a switch hitter coming up, but Wilson has not had the series that Dykstra has had. Dykstra has hit in 5 of the 6 games. He was held hitless in the only game in yesterday's game. So they elect to pitch to Mookie Wilson.
Wilson in against Lopez and punches it foul, left side, out of play. The inning started with Carter's single. Walk Strawberry. And then Knight's bunt back to the mound. Lopez got Carter at third, moving Strawberry to second, and then Backman singled to right. Strawberry scored. That's fouled by Wilson because Bass couldn't get a hold of the ball to make the strong throw to the plate. Wilson strikes out. So we move to the bottom of the 14th inning. The New York Mets leading 4-3, and back after this message from your local station.
Darryl Strawberry is on second. Ray Knight is on first, 1 down. Mets looking for the biggest hit of the year right here. The pitch on the way, and a line drive base hit going into right field. Strawberry will try to score. Here's the throw coming to the plate. He scores. The throw is high, goes into foul ground. Runners on second and third. The Mets have taken the lead. Wally Backman drilled a clean single to right field. A run is in. The throw by Bass, the right fielder, way over the head of Ashby, all the way to the backstop.
Jesse Orosco making his 3rd appearance. He has won 2 games. 2 wins and a save would be quite a championship series as he pitches to Bill Doran. Strike call. It'll be Doran, Hatcher, Walling for Houston. 4-3 Mets lead. If Orosco makes a stand up, they are the National League champions of 1986.
Not one Met reliever in 18 innings has given up an earned run, and the relievers have given up only 1 run in this series for the Mets.
High fastball. Doran swings and doesn't get it. His count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Al Lanier telling Doran just to hit the ball back through the middle.
Orosco strikes him out. 1 down.
I'll tell you, it appears that Jesse Orosco's pride is surfacing after Roger McDowell took over the #1 reliever's role for the Mets this year. Orosco has been devastating in this playoff series.
Billy Hatcher. Davey Lopes is on deck. He will hit for Walling. Curve bends in low. Ball 1. Al Lanier going to the percentage, sending Lopes, the right-hander, up for Walling, the left-hander. Ball is hit hard to the left side, but it's foul by about 35, 40 feet. (4-3) Mets. I think the rest of the story you know. tantalizing. And in there for a strike. 1-2.
I don't think Hatcher's going to get another inside fastball, either a heater away or a curve.
Away. And it's 2-2.
If you make a mistake on the fastball away in a one-run in a game situation, a single is all he'll get. Inside could be a homer.
Breaking pitch, close. Full count to Hatcher. 3 balls and 2 strikes. High in the air, toward the corner, curving, it is home run! Watch it closely as it goes hooking toward the foul pole. It is so close. He knows that he's got enough wood on it, but is it going to stay fair? Does that remind you of Pudge Fisk a little?
Shades of Game 6 of the 75 series. And that's what we were talking about the inside fastball. Hatcher had just pulled one foul down the line, and this one hits the net. 3 inches fair. The danger of the inside fastball, and now Walling will bat for himself.
Eddie Walling will stay in the game, and a 4-4 tie at the bottom of the 14th inning, and Jesse Orozco is really stung for the first time in the series. That's foul back, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike on the Houston third baseman.
See, that's the advantage of getting that 1-2 and 2-2 pitch over to make Hatcher put the ball in play on your terms. Once it goes to 3-2, you can't afford to walk him, and you've got to throw a strike.
Walling hits it to Hernandez, and Orozco covers it first. And you got 2 down. Well, you've got 2 out. Hatcher has just homered to tie at the bottom of the 14th, and here's the big man, Lynn Davis. And Orozco's got to pitch to him because there's nobody warmed up.
Lynn has a couple of hits, a single and a double. He drove in the 3rd run, or the 2nd run, back in the 1st.
Outside, ball 1. Billy right now is afraid to smile too much. I mean, he's thankful and he's happy, but his team hasn't won yet. Davis swings and misses on a sinking slider for 1-1. Davis pops that one to the right side, and it's foul out of play. High pop up to the infield by Davis. Wally Backman makes the catch for the 3rd out. So Billy Hatcher hits a home run that is fair by less than a foot down the left field line. And the crowd is standing and still roaring. And we'll go on to the top of the 15th inning. A 4-4 tie.
Now Orozco trying to save it in the bottom half of the 14th inning. The hitter is Billy Hatcher, the center fielder. Right-hand batter, 1 hit and 5 times up. Line drive foul down the left field line. That was hit hard. Way back into the left field corner, but a foul ball. Had that been straightened out, this game was tied up again. It's 3-2 to Billy Hatcher. In the outfield, the Mets are deep. Dykstra over toward left center. Mookie deep and left. Payoff delivery and a high fly deep to left. Down the line. It may go foul waiting. It hits the screen. Tie ball game. Home run.
Don't believe that 14th inning. Wally Backman driving in the run on the screwball on the ball that was held by Kevin Bass. And of course now what really comes into play is Howard Johnson as the pinch hitter popping up with only 1 out. And that set the stage for Billy Hatcher on the 3-2 pitch. How many 3-2 counts have been devastating for both sides in this series?
I can think immediately of 4.
See him turn on that inside pitch. How appropriate that you mentioned Carlton Fisk in the 6th game of the 75 series. My goodness.
Charlie Kerfeld's reaction while this was going on. Matt Galante jumped higher than he's jumped in 15 years at that first base coaching box. Well, I tell you, this has been a remarkable series. These are 2 tough baseball teams that are well matched. My goodness. Kevin Elster will lead it off for the Mets in the top of the 15th with Keith Hernandez and then Gary Carter scheduled up. Aurelio Lopez, really under the circumstances an unlikely figure out on the mound for the Houston Astros.
Certainly with Charlie Kerfeld yet to enter the ball game. Danny Darwin yet to enter any ball game. Just going down to warm up. I don't think Lanier wants a replay at the top of the 14th inning.
Full count on the leadoff man for the Mets in the top of the 15th inning, Kevin Elster. Mike Scott among those pacing in that Houston dugout, and Elster fouls it away and stays alive. You're almost at the point where you got to play with who you've got in the lineup now. A couple of small moves can still be made, but not a whole lot. And Elster pops it up on the right side. Glenn Davis, the first baseman, calls for it. And 1 out. (1968) they played how many innings? 24. Well, back in '62, the first time they met, they played 11 innings. And Houston won both those games.
Well, I think the most important time for the Mets, when they took the lead in the 14th inning, they just stopped. They really still had a golden opportunity to tack on another run. With runners at 2nd and 3rd and only 1 out, and pinch hitter Howard Johnson popped up to Ashby. And then after an intentional walk to Dykstra, Mookie Wilson struck out with the bases loaded. So a chance to really put the Astros away, but they failed to do it, and remarkably, this team came back.
Now it's Keith Hernandez with 1 out and Carter to the on-deck circle. Against Aurelio Lopez. Strike. Tell you, Bulldog's got some years on him, but he's got some bite in him, and he's coming right at him. Keith Hernandez. There's that Scroogey. And it's 2 strikes. He really twisted that screwball down and away. Strike 3 call.
After the screwball, a fastball right on the corner. Freezes Hernandez.
Now it's Gary Carter.
Kind of like to freeze this game, wouldn't you? A little time capsule.
That's right.
I'm not too sure. We're not in one.
Character, both sides. Pop foul, out of play. Hard shot. Hatcher on the move, can't get it, but knocks it down, and he holds Carter to a single. And Gary hit it on the nose.
A good play by Billy Hatcher. He was playing deep, and he should have been playing deep, not only for Carter, but outfielders have a tendency to play deeper in these innings, in these situations, to prevent the double. He smothered the in-between hop and made a good play.
Strawberry at the plate in the top of the 15th inning. A 4-4 tie. Carter. Tie-breaking run on first base. 2 down. Ball rolls around. Carter breaks for second. Throw down. He's a dead duck. Ball got away from Alan Ashby. He turned around, threw his mask away, found the ball. Carter saw the ball loose, saw that Ashby didn't know where it was, took off. Ashby found it and fired a strike to second base.
Carter did not break right away, but Alan Ashby hops on the ball. Watch. See, Carter doesn't break right away. Now it's too late. Ashby pounces on it, throws a strike to get Carter easily at second.
And the side is retired. And we'll go to the bottom of the 15th inning in a 4-4 tie. Thank you very much, Peter. And we'll move to the home half of the 15th inning at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, as Alan Ashby getting ready to come up. He'll be following Bass and Cruz. And let's go back to the play on Carter. You see the ball in the dirt. Ashby didn't exactly know where it was. Carter got a late break from first base. Not a great deal of foot speed from Gary, and Ashby right on the base.
Kind of funny to see Darryl Strawberry getting down right there. He didn't want to get hit in the coconut.
It's Kevin Bass, Jose Cruz, and Alan Ashby. The 3 hitters facing Jesse Orozco, and Bass hits it down toward the corner. It is a foul ball. Got all of it, but it was fouled by a couple of feet.
That's like
umpire Dutch Winnert making the call rather quickly.
Pardon me, Keith. That's like the ball that Billy Hatcher hit before his home run. He fouled one down in the corner. That was foul, and then on the 3-2 pitch and the 14th, he tied the game with a home run.
Strike 1 pitch to Bass. Strike 2. Struck him out on a breaking pitch right in on the hand. Now Jose Cruz.
Boy, this is a biting breaking ball. Down and in, and Bass misses it by about 4 inches.
Cruz had a single back in the first inning. They've followed him since then. And Orozco starts him with a curveball strike. Fastball strike.
You know, this is the quickest 15-inning game I've ever seen. Only 4 hours old.
That's just because it's been exciting. Didn't go through. Pitch was low. Lopes right-hander, Mizrock left-handed for Houston on the bench. No left-handers left for New York. One right-handed hitter, Ed Hearn. Both managers hate to spin that second catcher. Strikes out Cruz. So Orozco here in the bottom of the 15th gets the first two hitters swinging. A 4-4 ball game as Alan Ashby comes to the plate, and he'll hit right-handed, and he hit a home run in New York to win a game right-handed. Hit it the second inning, but it stood up.
You know, over 14 2/3 innings, the Astros have stranded three
people.
In 10 of the 14 innings, they've only sent 3 batters to the plate.
New York, on the other hand, the Mets have stranded 9.
Stranding 3 big ones in the top of the 14th.
Curveball strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Alan Ashby. Hit to the right side toward the hole. Backman scoots over and whips the throw to Hernandez to retire the side. So on we go. 4-4 between the Astros and the Mets. Darryl Strawberry, Ray Knight, and Wally Backman now will face right-hander Aurelio Lopez, who came on to face the Mets in the 14th inning. He's now out for his 3rd inning of work, and once again action in the Houston bullpen as Jeff Calhoun gets up and goes down. Ball 1 to Strawberry. Doug Sisk now gets back up in the New York bullpen. He was there before. 1-1 screwball to Strawberry.
Lopez won't feature a breaking ball to Strawberry. Fastballs in and screwballs away.
One and two. Fly ball, center field. Hatcher coming in, coming in, coming in, coming in, coming in. Doran going back. It drops between them. Strawberry turns second and holds on. Oh, my goodness. Billy Hatcher is playing deep. I'm not sure he saw the ball.
He took 1 step back, too. He thought the ball was hit better than it really was. The 1 step back cost him dearly. Screwball off the end of the bat. Now he's already taken the 1 step back. Now he has too far to go because he's playing Strawberry too deeply. Doran can't get to it. And the Astros fortunate this ball wasn't a triple.
The tie-breaking run now, the go-ahead run at second base, and Darryl Strawberry leading off the top of the 16th inning. And Ray Knight at the plate. Shows no indication he's going to put it down, and the history may be a factor here because he has not been very successful at it. Hasn't had a sacrifice since '83.
1983. It's been 3 years since he sacrificed successfully.
Hits a base hit to right field. That's going to bring Strawberry home. Bass's throw offline. Strawberry scores and Knight goes to second. Again, Bass has got to play with an accurate throw.
That's exactly right. The first time in the 14th inning, he couldn't get the ball out of the glove. This throw goes up the line. Had it been on home plate, he's got a shot. Again, he's playing Knight shallow. Knight going the other way. Now watch Bass's throw. Up the line. Ashby, by coming up the line, is passed by Strawberry.
And the Mets have gone to the lead 5-4, and Aurelio Lopez is out of the ball game as Jeff Calhoun is going to be called in to pitch to the left-handed hitter Wally Backman. So Aurelio Lopez successful enough through 2 innings, but stung here. Billy Hatcher playing deep against Strawberry, and you got to play Strawberry deep.
Right.
But I don't think that he ever had a good pickup on the ball, the fly ball that dropped between Hatcher and Doran in center field.
We talked about the panes of acrylic glass on top of this, 4,596 of them. And the ball is not easy to pick up. But Billy Hatcher should have played the ball, or should have made the catch actually with that much hang time. But because he didn't pick it up and because he took the step back, well, that cost him dearly.
So Jeff Calhoun comes into the ball game for the Houston Astros. In bringing in the left-handed pitcher now, Hal Lanier makes Wally Backman turn around to hit right-handed.
Even though Backman hit right-handed better this year, he was not as effective as a left-handed batter. Or as a right-handed batter, pardon me.
Calhoun starts in with a strike. Darwin now is going back to the bullpen. And Charlie Kerfeld, who was the loser yesterday, has not made an appearance in the bullpen today. Calhoun throws that little sinker in there and gets a swing and a miss. Threw it right into the hand.
I think the fact that Backman is not bunting and swinging away is indicative of the fact that Orozco will probably remain in the game.
Ball squirts away from Ashby. Runner breaks for third, and in there is Ray Knight. What a big run he would be if they should get him home.
That's right, because the Mets realized that they blew a chance to add on in the 14th inning.
That's charged as a wild pitch to Calhoun.
A catcher's trained to keep the ball out in front of him. Those wild pitches come on balls that bounce to the right or to the left of a catcher, and that's what that did to Ashby.
Pitcher of record for Houston right now is Lopez. Infield is up. And the pitch is up. 2-2. Inside and tight, full count, 3-2. Reynolds, the pitcher's spot, and Doran scheduled for Houston in the bottom of the 16th inning.
And the Astros have only Lopes and Mizrock to pinch hit.
Pop foul, right side, out of play.
It really is a shame that there has to be a loser in this ball game.
Off the fist, foul, right side. The pitcher, Orozco, waiting on deck. Pitching arm wrapped in a coat. Sis, for the moment, a spectator in the Mets bullpen as Backman works Calhoun for a walk. And now Orozco has the coat off. The bat in hand comes up. And I think Bud Harrelson will have a conversation with him as to what to do. You have nobody out. You have a run in for a 5-4 Mets lead. You have Knight over at third. And you have Backman at first.
With nobody out, you don't even think about a squeeze play here. But what you think about is a straight sacrifice, as though no runner were on third. I would imagine Orozco will try to get it down to get Backman to second.
Pitch is outside, gets away from Ashby, comes to the backstop. Knight scores, and it is 6-4 Mets. Backman goes to second.
I would imagine that will be a pass ball, because the ball should have been handled. The ball tailing away from Alan Ashby. Orozco squaring around the bunt. He takes it, and the ball off the webbing of Alan Ashby. One thing you forget about how tired both of these catchers have to be. Grueling back there.
Wild pitch it goes. But right down the line, Walling throws, and Orozco moves Backman over to third with the sacrifice. So the Mets get a little bonus there on the second wild pitch of the inning by Calhoun. 6-4. Mets lead. Game 6. They can make that stand up. They'll head for the World Series and wait, I'm sure, through the night, laying their tired bodies in a relaxed, prone position while they watch the Angels and the Red Sox determine the American League Championship.
If they can stay awake.
If they can stay awake. Calhoun now is pitching to Dykstra with the infield up, and he's high for ball 1. Off Davis's glove into right field. Base hit. And Backman scores from third. And it is 7-4 Mets. Dykstra continues to grow in stature.
At the outset of these games, we said how valuable Backman and Dykstra were to this ball club, and they continue to prove it. Strange game without the infield in. That's an AB because Davis makes the catch of the line drive instead of the ball going off his glove because of playing too close.
Top of the order, Wilson now, and the crowd starts to leave. And Calhoun is low for ball 1.
See, Davis has to play shallow, and the ball's on top of him too quickly, and it went right off the webbing. If he's playing back, he makes the catch, but you can't play back in that situation.
1-1 to Mookie. At this point, you have to have the feeling the Mets are headed for their 3rd World Series. To Doran at second. Over to Reynolds, back to first. They turn the double play. But 3 big runs score. Going to the bottom of the 16th, 7-4 Mets. Back after this message from your local station.
So Darryl Strawberry, 0 for 4 with 2 walks, will be leading off as we go, would you believe, the 16th inning. High pop fly into very short center. It might be trouble running forward. Billy Doran drops for a base hit. Strawberry around second. He'll stop there, throw to second. Texas League double, Darryl Strawberry. Billy Hatcher apparently couldn't find it. Billy Doran, the second baseman, made an amazing try for it. He went from second base way out into center field, but was just out of his reach at the last moment. Now Strawberry on second. Nobody out. Ray Knight is the batter. Ray 0 for 5 with a sacrifice fly. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to right field. Strawberry may have trouble scoring. The throw is coming in, won't get him. The run is in. Knight to second base. The Mets are in front, 5-4. Ray Knight, who tied the game in the 9th inning with a sacrifice fly, a hard single to right field, and the right fielder Kevin Bass did not make a good throw at all, nor did he make a good one the last time around.
Same people. This time Darryl Strawberry scores again, and again a throw that was very wide down the third baseline allowed Strawberry to score and allowed Ray Knight to move up to second base.
Lopez will leave, and in the pitch will come Jeff Calhoun. And the big thing now for the Mets to try to do, and of course they will be trying to do exactly that, is to get another run home. This will turn Wally Backman around and make him a right-hand batter. In the dirt, partially blocked. Knight crossing over. Throw to third. Not in time. Not in time. A throw that was in the dirt, blocked by Ashby. And this time, Ray Knight gets to third on it. Backman hitting out of the crouch. The pitch. Ball 4. Wally Backman beat him in his own game as he waited him out. He fouled off a couple. He winds up with a walk. Now first and third, and Orozco coming up. Jesse rarely ever gets a turn at bat, but he is a good athlete. Orozco squaring around. It gets away from the catcher. Coming home. Ray Knight. The Mets have a 2-run lead. The Mets have a 2-run lead in the 16th inning in the Astrodome. Now the Mets have a 2-run lead, and I believe Orozco will still be bunting, trying to get Wally Backman over to third. He turns the bunt, bunts it down the third baseline. Fair ball. The play goes to first in time for the out. Backman goes over to third. That's with a 2-run lead, and now Lenny Dykstra will be hitting against Calhoun, left-hander against left-hander. Line drive off the glove of Davis into right field. Base hit. Backman scores. The Mets now have a 3-run lead.
Jesse Orozco can become quite a figure when you ponder the record books in the future as we wait for the Game 7 in the American League Championship Series. Angels and Red Sox, Candelaria and Clemens coming at 8 Eastern Time. Orozco is out there now with a chance to win his 3rd game.
And the last time that was done in a best 4 out of 7 series was when Denny McClain did it back in 1968 for the Detroit Tigers. I beg your pardon, Mickey Lolich did it. Yeah. And I was on that ball club against whom he did it, the St. Louis Cardinals. Gibson did it in 67, Lou Burdett for the Braves back in 57, and Harry Burkeen did it for the St. Louis Cardinals back in 1946. They won 3 games in a 4 out of 7 series.
He'll have to deal with Craig Reynolds, Davey Lopes, and Bill Doran. Lopes will be hitting in the pitcher spot. 7-4, New York, 3 outs away from winning the 1986 National League Championship. Two balls and no strikes for Craig Reynolds. Orozco, in amplifying what Tim McCarver just said, will be the first, I believe, to win 3 in relief.
That's right.
Yeah.
All the others did it as starting pitchers.
2-1. To Reynolds. All the hitters can do now, go up there and make him throw strikes.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Reynolds taking here. He took the 2-0 pitch. Reynolds, a left-handed hitter, has to hit against Orozco because Hal Lanier only has 2 more players to pinch hit.
And one of them's on deck. Davey Lopes. Nope. Tried to put it on the ground and tipped it foul to the backstop, and it's now full at 3-2. Don't think that was a Lanier decision. It was a Reynolds decision.
And I don't really agree with that, but of course, Craig trying to put the ball down for a drag bunt. But I think you're better off just taking the pitch and hoping the ball's out of the strike zone. After all, you are 3 runs down.
Reynolds swings and misses on a breaking pitch for the first out. Now Davey Lopes will come to the plate. And the Mets are 2 outs away from winning the National League pennant. Mike Scott will not, unless there is a considerable miracle available to the Houston Astros, be pitching a 3rd time in a 7th game. Davey Lopes, the veteran, at 40, takes the pitch inside from Jesse for ball 1. Ball 2 inside. Large portion of the 45,000 plus that watched the game today are in the parking lot. Two and one on the called strike. Three and one. Lopes making Orozco throwing strikes. Jesse's behind at 3-1. Bill Doran on deck. Ball 4. Lopes is aboard. Now Doran is at the plate with Hatcher coming to the on-deck circle. And the grinding goes on. Bottom of the 16th inning. The Astrodome in Houston. They played 12 innings in New York yesterday afternoon, with the Mets finally winning it 2-1. Doran hits it to left center field. Base hit. Dykstra hurries over, cuts it off. Lope stops at second. The Astros are still alive. Now Orozco getting a conference on the mound with Hernandez, Carter, and Beckman. And Billy Hatcher, who hit the home run to tie in the bottom of the 14th inning, is waiting to come to the plate. It's Orozco's game to win, certainly, if he can get him. Tim McCarver has departed for the presentation of the MVP trophy. Corey McFerrin is waiting to go into the winner's clubhouse. And Hatcher steps in, representing the tying run. Ball is hit up the gap. It's in there for a base hit. Lope starts third. He's coming to the plate to score. And it's 7-5, New York. Another conference at the mound, and now Davey Johnson, the manager, is calling a full conference at the mound. As you see the ball cut off by Dykstra, hurries it back in. They don't care much about the fact, at least at the moment, that Lope scored. They've got one out, and Houston now has Hatcher on first base after that single, and he represents the tying run. Doug Sisk is back up throwing in the New York Mets bullpen. Big right-hander. And Denny Walling steps in to the batter's box. Glenn Davis is on deck. Winning run is at the plate in the person of Walling. Orozco throwing strikes, and the Astros are hitting those strikes here in the bottom of the 16th inning. Curveball, strike call. Swing and a miss on a curveball. And it's 2 strikes on Denny Walling. 1 out. Roll to the right side. Hernandez has it. Goes to second. They get 1 there. And that's all. But that's the second out. They got Hatcher at second base. Well, we've got 1 out to go for the New York Mets in a 7-5 ball game. Bill Doran is now over at third base. Walling on at first on the fielder's choice. And here's the home run hitter. 31 big ones this year for Glenn Davis. Tim McCarver downstairs now. Caught up in the tension of the moment. And what a moment to have your home run hitter at the plate with the tying run on first base. Tim, have you got him under it?
I certainly do, Keith.
All right. Well, here we go.
It's a lot quieter down here than it is up there.
Where are you?
I'm in the clubhouse of the New York Mets.
All right. 2 out. The pitch to Davis. And a sinker. Strike one on Glenn. Roscoe really turned that one over. Tying run is at first base. They need 2 to tie. 7-5. Davis hits it at center field. Dykstra coming late. Got a late start. Drops in front of him. And they are still alive. It is 7-6 as Doran scores from third. Now it is Kevin Bass's turn. If they were to make a pitching change here, they would turn Bass around. He would hit left-handed against Sisk if he were called. Bass's power side is the right side. And that's where he is against Orozco. And once again, Danny Darwin, and now Charlie Kerfeld is going to go down there too in the Houston bullpen, just in case. The miracle's going to come true for the Astros, and the pitch to the hands, and Bass swings and misses. Kerfeld is not throwing. It is Darwin loosening up, and Orozco almost threw that one to the backstop. Carter had to come out of the crouch quickly to flag it down. There are a lot of tired bodies on that playing field. One of them's out there on the mound trying to get another one at the plate. Orozco against Bass. The tying run is at second base. Danny Walling. Bass swings and misses. Same pitch, same place. And it's 1-2.
Keith, you're in a situation right now. I do not believe Orozco will waste any kind of fastball. I think he'll go right with the breaking ball. Again, a good play by Carter on the scoop. You're in a situation where the whole season depends on one pitch. And my guess is the breaking ball.
Here it comes. Just low. And Kevin Bass almost committed himself. It's 2-2 with 2 out. The tying run, Danny Walling at second base. The winning run at first base. Close. Breaking pitch hit right around the plate. And it's a full count, 3-2. Mike Scott, who watched the pitch a 7th game. Bob Knepper, who seemed to have this one in hand, only to have it get away from him in the 9th inning. 3-2 to Bass. Struck him out. Kevin Bass swinging strikes on 3 breaking balls, and the New York Mets have won the 1986 National League pennant. And Jesse Orozco becomes the first winner of 3 games in relief in postseason play. The losing pitcher will be Aurelio Lopez. And Bob Knepper can only watch the Mets celebration in the center of the field. When it seemed early on in the day that Bob was on his way to pitching a classic ball game, masterful in performance for 8 1/3 innings. And then the sky fell, and the Mets tied at 3-3. And then they went ahead 5-4. And Houston came back in the 14th inning to tie. And then the Mets came back to go ahead by winning the ball game with that 3-run outburst in the top of this inning. So the struggle is done. Sadness, disappointment, fatigue, you name an element, and it exists on one side or the other. It was Davy Johnson, 13 years in the major leagues. Davy Johnson in 1969 was the final out for the Baltimore Orioles when the Mets won the World Series. Hal Lanier, from a baseball family. His dad, Max Lanier, an outstanding left-hander in the 40s. Great job in putting this Houston ball club into the hunt when nobody thought they could be at the beginning of the season. But they won a club record 96 games. And they went 16 innings in game number 6 before they lost by a score of 7-6 to the New York Mets, the 1986 National League champions. Here's Tim McCarver.
Well, Keith, I feel that the mood in the clubhouse down here is one of exhaustion. I don't feel like the ball club is in the celebratory mood that I would think a club who just won the National League pennant should be in. And the reason for that is they're exhausted. The first 4 through the clubhouse, Darryl Strawberry, Keith Hernandez, even Davy Johnson, appeared to be totally exhausted. Things are whooping up right now. I think they're getting a second win. And we will try to have some folks up on the platform as soon as they get ready. Most tiring ball game that I have ever been a part of as a fan or as a player.
Well, Houston was in a championship series in 1980 with the Philadelphia Phillies for 5 games. It was memorable. It wore on and on and on. And finally, Philadelphia came from behind to win in the 5th game. In this one, though it only went 6 games, it will surely go down as one of the memorable contests in championship play. Well, they popped the champagne all right. And while they may whoop it up, I'll bet you it doesn't last long, because a struggle like this wears your nerves and your body down to the fine edge. And there is still work to be done because the World Series is scheduled to open on Saturday. And in just a few minutes, the California Angels and the Boston Red Sox will have at it at Fenway Park in game number 7 to determine which American League team will be going to the World Series.
Now Jesse Orozco ready to go to work once again. Jesse starting his 3rd inning of work and his most important inning of the entire year to this point. Reynolds, since coming in the game, is 0 for 2. Around comes the arm, swing and a miss, struck him out. 1 man away in the 16th inning. So Reynolds has been fanned, and Davy Lopes will be coming on as a pinch hitter. Orozco's 3-1 delivery, ball 4. They have a man on. Davy Lopes draws a walk. Orozco pitching his 3rd relief inning. Now it brings up Billy Doran, the second baseman. Pitch to Bill Doran. Line drive, base hit. The tying run will come to bat. Dykstra picking it up on the run. Runners on 1st and 2nd with 1 man down. A hard single by Billy Doran. And Billy Hatcher, who hit a home run off Orozco in the 14th inning, will be coming up. Ground line drive, base hit to left center field. Rounding 3rd and coming home to score, Davy Lopes. Oh my goodness, it's 7-5. The tying runs are on 1st and 2nd base. Now Jenny Walling will be coming up. And a ground ball hit down toward 1st base. Orozco will cover, throw to 2nd, out, force play. Oh, big play by Hernandez. He threw to Elster at 2nd. They got a force play on Billy Hatcher. And Hatcher represents the tying run. Hernandez has been magnificent. He has had the day of his life in the field, and you know what kind of a fielder he can be. He has taken away about 3 hits, and that time, with a runner practically on 2nd, a very fast runner, he did not hesitate. He fired to Elster, and they got a force play on Hatcher. So now 1st and 3rd, 2 down, and Davis is coming up. And a drive in the air to center field. It's going to drop for a hit. Dykstra will have to play it on the hop. 1 run in, and the tying run on 2nd. It is 7-6. The tying run is on 2nd. That was a soft single in the short center field. Now the tying run is on 2nd base. The hitter coming up is Kevin Bass. Swing and a miss, strike 1. He has to get 2 more. Way outside, almost a wild pitch. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was a nasty slider. Low inside, he went after it, and he could not get it. Now the pitch on the way. Low, ball 2. Breaking ball, it just missed. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Just missed. Just missed. Ball 3. Full count. 3 and 2. 3 and 2. What will he do? Tying run on second. Winning run on first. 2 down. 1 more out. The Mets are in the World Series. It may go the other way. Now the stretch. The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Struck him out. Mets win it. The Mets have won it. They're in the World Series. Saturday night at Shea. Oh, they are mobbing Jesse Orozco. One of the biggest strikeouts in baseball history. An incredible strikeout. 3 and 2. He threw a breaking ball on 3 and 2, and he struck him out. Everybody is out at the pitching mound, and somewhere in there, among all those gray uniforms, stands a very brave young man whose name is Jesse Orozco. He has just won his 3rd game in the playoffs. Bobby Ojeda has the other. The happiest baseball team that you've seen in a very long time.
Well, the champagne, the bubbly's in the air, and let's go now to Tim with Davy Johnson.
I am with the manager of the New York Mets, Davy Johnson. Davy, congratulations. Your perseverance, your patience with this young ball club paid off. You took over in 1984. You've increased every year, and this has got to be very, very satisfying for you.
Well, I sure am. I'm really proud of the guys. Today was a real tough day. We were down 3 runs. They fought back. We tied it in the 9th, and you know, it's hard to stay in the game when you're on the road, but they battled and played tough and came back and had the big inning. I'm just really proud of these guys.
You sound like you've lost your voice.
Yeah, I'm not a real good yeller, but I yelled quite a bit there for a while.
Have you ever seen a ball game like that? Not only in post-game play, and you played the 16-13 game in Atlanta last July 4th. Does that compare with this one?
No doubt about it. This one, you know, you're on pins and needles to begin with because of the pressure of the game, but to go 15 innings or how many ever it went, the guys to stay in there and really battle it, I'm proud of them, really.
Were you ever this happy as a player?
No, Timmy, because I got 24 guys that I feel a little bit responsible for, and to see them do what they just accomplished, it really makes me feel good.
Davy Johnson, the manager of the New York Mets. Congratulations, Davy.
Thanks a lot, Timmy.
Davy's going to get with the celebration here in the clubhouse. Now let's go back to Keith Jackson. Keith?
All right, Tim. Again, your final score is 7-6. The Mets win, but don't for a moment in any sense doubt the character and quality of this Houston ball club. It was 7-4 going into the bottom of the 16th inning, and they fought back and had the tying run at second base and the winning run on first base, and just missed. Again, Tim.
Keith, one of the key hits in the ball game, of course, a triple by Len Dykstra off of Bob Knepper. And the important thing about that hit, Lenny, a lot of big hits come with men on base. Yours, it seemed like it was an eye-opener for the Mets.
Well, I'll tell you what, Knepper was throwing a great ball game. He kept it stale the whole ball game, and you know, the 9th inning got a spark, and that's all I think we need, to catch a little spark, catch a little fire, and we ignited from there, and it was you know, a great win. It shows the character of this ball club all year.
In Game 3, you had a 2-run homer against Dave Smith, and you said that it was the first home run since your home run in Stratomatic. Have you had any other thrills other than Stratomatic that can compare with this?
I'll tell you what, this is the biggest. You know, my first real full year in the major leagues, and to come and win the pennant, and we're going to the World Series is it's been a total team effort, and that's why we're doing it, because of the team. We've had great pitching. We've just had great efforts by everyone, and that's what it takes to win.
Of course, you realize what you did today. You didn't start against a left-hander, but you pitch hit against a left-hander, and that left-hander had only allowed 3 base runners through the first 8 innings.
Well, Bob Knepper's real tough. He's a tough man on a left-hander, and Davey, you know, he's been using everyone. He keeps everyone sharp. He's been using Mitchell, so he brings me in late, and knowing that they don't have a left-hander in the bullpen, a real stopper left-hander in the bullpen, they're going to bring a right-hander in, so it plays into his hands. So I'm ready to get against the right-hander. So I think you know, left-handers, I can get on base, and fortunately I was able to start something today.
Lenny Dykstra, one of the stars of the games for the New York Mets, as the Mets win 7-6. Let's go back to Keith Jackson. Keith?
This National League Championship Series has been brought to you on ABC by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By Bud Light, everything else is just a light. By Bic, for normal or sensitive skin, an extraordinary shave at an extraordinary price. and by IBM and the growing family of IBM personal computers. It takes a lot of people to do what has been done over the last few days. Our engineering people have done a job for us that we are proud of, and we'd like you to see their names, all those involved. The production staff headed by our producer Peter Lasser, directed by Craig Janoff. Our technical directors Rich Gelber, John Fider, Chet Mazurik, associate director Dick Buffington, our feature producers John McGinnis and Jimmy Roberts, and all those involved in it. We thank you, gentlemen. You're all pros. Jerry Klein, our research, and all of the young people who helped us in so many ways to bring you this exciting series. Once again, your final score: the New York Mets 7, the Houston Astros 6. We're going to come back here in a few moments for the MVP presentation, but that will be after Al Michaels and Jim Palmer and company get you started at Fenway Park in Boston. The American League Championship Series continuing. It's Game 7 between the California Angels, John Candelaria, the Boston Red Sox with Roger Clemens, to decide which American League team will meet the New York Mets in the 1986 World Series. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. Nobody knows Hawaii like United.